Microphone. Discord. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. Yep. Thank you for the boom.
Boom, boom,
in the room. Yep. That was totally my fault. I recently figured out a way that Ruel and I can continue to verbally dialogue with each other during the countdown, but it requires me at the last possible second, right before we go live, pushing a button, and I forgot to push it. So that was my fault. I apologize. We're here. You can hear us. We can't hear you or see you, but we feel your presence. And we feel those good vibes. Thank you very much, Brenner.
Yes, thank you, Brenner. Thank you, and folks, welcome to the R&R Pre-Show. This is what we do every Tuesday here at 12 p.m. Pacific. We hang out and get ready to record our weekly top 10 list, and we're getting close. This is the big, next to the big, the penultimate,
The penultimate,
our
yes.
top 100 games.
Posting that everywhere because I love that word, and last week I should have said the anti-penultimate, but I totally forgot.
What is it like the
I believe the anti-penultimate is the next to last. I'm pretty sure. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yes, they will. And so welcome, friends. Yeah, hang out with us. We are going to be chilling out, chatting about many things before we get to the actual recording of the show. And as always, if you have any, you can let us know audio and video wise if everything's A-okay. We'd appreciate it.
Yes, please.
Looks
especially
like people
because
can hear us now,
I've just switched to my third microphone in the last week. As people know, long-time goers, and my Yeti's been just failing left, right, and center. So I did a test last week with a shotgun mic I had just in the closet. And it worked okay, and the audience said it sounded fine, but then I went and listened to it after the fact, and I did not think it sounded good at all. I thought it sounded terrible, but I'm very picky. Plus, I listen with relatively high-quality earbuds. So I bit the bullet and bought a Samson Q2U microphone, which I've read is like one of the ultimate USB workhorse microphones. They've been around forever. They're just they're unkillable. They're totally reliable. Quality sound. I did a couple of tests with it last night, and do we sound okay, folks? And actually, while we're at it, let's do a volume check. A check. A 1, 2, 3. Go.
Check. 1, 2, 3. Check. Check. Hello.
Check. Check. Hello. Right back at ya. All righty.
All right. How does that sound, friends? Let us know. Kabuki Kid says it's all right, or said hey.
Said hey.
Okay.
All
Sound
right.
is good there. Cool. Hello, Mom Gamer. Thank you. And Force of Glass also. Okay. Brenner says Ruel might be a little loud, but very close.
Yeah, let's see here. That's a weird thing. I mean, actually, I am peaking in the red right now, and you're just in the high yellows. I think your voice psychologically feels louder because you got more of that James Earl Jones thing going on. Okay.
So, the Darth Vader style.
Yep, you are all about that bass, whereas I'm all treble.
Well, okay. Thanks, people, friends in chat. I appreciate that. It seems like we're okay here.
Yep.
Videos looks good. I actually just checked the Twitch channel right now. We are good to go, so that's great.
All right, all systems are go. I don't know why it feels like we haven't done this for a while, but we were here a week ago, right?
We didn't take a week off. It's so funny. I was thinking the exact same thing. Why is that? We didn't have a 3-day weekend or anything.
No.
And it just. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just literally struggling to remember, right? Okay, what is it that we do? Oh, wait, okay. We say hi to everybody. Hey, Ruckus. Yes. Hey, Don Gilstrap. Hey, Goblin. Hey, Kabuki. Hey, Variant. Hey, 99999999999_1. Hey, Forest of Glass. Hey, Mom Gamer. MG. You're back.
Yes.
You were gone for so long. That's 2 shows in a row. Flying Dutch Rocker. Good to see ya. Ruckus Forest. Don. Kezerdrix. And Tibby Baloo, and I always want to end that with something, Tibby Baloo and something too, but I can't quite think of.
Right.
It just doesn't come trippingly off my tongue. Happier there.
Yeah, it seems like we should say like Timbuktu after.
Yeah, something.
That, right?
Let's see. Oh, there's Ruel booming. All right. Fidelia and Bing and Nazgoth and Brenner.
Yeah, Nazgoth.
And Meeples and Mocktails. And by the way, I would just like to apologize, Flashburn, not to Flashburn, but to anybody who actually listens to this after the fact in podcast form, because it includes all of this stuff. And I just got to get through this pretty quick, folks. There are certain boxes you have to tick when you're a live streamer, and I think I've said hello to everybody who's said hello so far. So, look at all those purple hearts from Mom Gamer. Right back at you as you very well know. Okay, Tippy Blue.
All right.
Tippy Canoe and Tyler 2, Kabuki Kid. Yes, I knew there was something. I don't know what Tippy Canoe and Tyler 2 is from, but I don't either. That is deep in my subconscious somewhere. And Tippy Blue just kind of is just off enough that it throws me off.
Is it like a Disney thing? I have feel. Is it like a Disney saying, or I don't know?
I imagine like Kabuki will let us know. But let's see here. Let's do some work. Let's look, because I think we have a big, we have a big, I was about to say, PG-13. I could say a big-ass list, can't I? Or is that's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a pre-show.
A big butt list. Actually, sounds worse than a big-ass list, actually, of outstanding things to do. Let's see. We have 2 Ruel Ranks from LS 124 and also from Nerd 20. So let's just get right into talking about games, especially since I think last week we did all pop culture. And so we were really kind of weak on the games in the preamble. So let me find the Gabriel.
And before we get to the games, let's just acknowledge Goblin. Rahdo was right about the Star Wars shows, by the way. Goblin was on your side.
Thank you. Yes, he actually he direct messaged me afterwards and said, "I'm sorry I wasn't there to back you up because you're entirely right." And I appreciate it. I don't think that would have turned the tide. Your one extra vote, but I stand by it. Let's see here. Oh, I need to get back to.
Oh, actually, here's a great comment from Nazgoth. They asked, can you filter out the Twitch sounds in the podcast version? For example, when someone subscribes or follows.
Oh, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Asking about, can you filter out the Twitch sounds for the podcast version?
I could do that. I choose not to because there would be weird silences and whatnot. I figured it was better to leave them in. But, I mean, I could certainly go either way. At the end of this show, I will have however long we are, 2 hours and 10 minutes of the full thing with sound effects, and I have a different one without. And one time I did accidentally, on the podcast feed, post the one without, and I had a few people saying, where were the sound effects? It was just really weird when you were responding to things that didn't happen, and there was no prompt. You just, in the middle of a sentence, did this thing because we never heard the sound effect. So I figured, okay, that makes more sense. I should probably make sure the sound effects are there. But, I don't know. Do I have a way to poll podcast listeners? That's an interesting thing. I will have to look into that because I could easily go either way. And I could see arguments in favor of both. Me, I like the sound effects. I think they're fun, but I totally dig that not everybody digs what I dig. Mm-hmm. Why is the browser not there? I'm sorry, repeat.
I was just going to say Bing and Kabuki were talking about Tippecanoe. Was William Harrison. He earned the nickname from the battle he won, the Battle of Tippecanoe, which is near the beautiful Tippecanoe River in Indiana.
Okay. There you go.
Another fun fact that we learned here today, folks.
I have found out where the browser went. It crashed. Totes crashed. Could we just... and now it will not... oh, there it is. Finally. Jeez Louise. That was a good start.
There you go.
For a hot minute, though, I thought maybe we were going to get away without any technical difficulties. Oh, but that's right. I screwed up right from the get-go, forgetting to turn our volume on, and then the browser crashed, and then it wouldn't come back. And so, I mean, things are continuing.
Are you even live streaming if there's no technical difficulties?
Exactly.
There's got to be. Yeah.
Right. Oh, I see Mugu2, a podcast listener. That's 1 vote, please, no sound effects. And we've got 1 vote, please, sound effects from 2 podcast listeners. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if... Anchor.fm, which is how I host the podcast. I wouldn't be surprised if it gives me some kind of polling thing. I'll have to look into that because, like I said, I could easily go either way. But anyway, Ruel, as the people have demanded, you're going to rate some games. So, do you see any on this completely arbitrary random page that you like that people can vote for?
Let me zoom in a little bit on this. Let's go down a little bit here.
All right. You don't like them? Bye-bye.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, Mex, I have not reviewed. Okay, Mex versus Minions. We can put that up there.
Mex versus Minions. All righty. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Like any of those, or are we going to page 2?
Really? Ticket to Ride Europe? I could have sworn I read
I believe that's not the first time you've said that in this very situation.
Let's continue the tradition. Let's put it up on the poll, and I will talk about next time I can't believe I haven't ranked that yet.
On the big board, Ticket to Ride Europe.
Okay.
And we'll find out if it goes or not. Let's see. Oh, here's stuff you've recently added to your. This is just down at the bottom of your list, and I think this is sorted by.
Yeah. Oh,
actually,
okay.
Sure.
Well, Star Wars Outer Rim. I just.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you just did a big super playthrough of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Star Wars Outer Rim. Alrighty, we got 3. We need 2 more.
2 more, just for giggles here. How about Catan Jr.?
Catan Jr. Alrighty.
Yeah.
And you like any of these?
Oh, can you scroll back down?
I can.
Something. Yeah, thank you. Where should Micro Macro.
Okay, sure. Micro Macro. Boom. Yeah. All right, folks, you have 2 minutes to pick 2 of those games, and Ruel will rank them accordingly. I believe we had a request for 2. I think that was right, right? And of course, you can use your channel points. You can even use bits if you want to sway the vote. And we'll spend a few minutes talking about each of those and what's taking the early lead so far. I see something is out in front. Of course, Mechs versus Minions.
Mechs versus Minions.
Oh, but it's all over the place. Micro Macro takes the lead all of a sudden. And
so right now,
and so far,
there's
no love for Catan Jr.
Okay, there's like 2 votes for Catan Jr. So I'm assuming Jr. won't be winning it today. But
can I ask? I saw that you did on your Twitch channel. You did a run through of Catan Jr.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I really liked it. I liked it more than I thought I would.
Okay.
And it may be. I mean, I know I'm not ranking it, but I'll just talk about it. But it might be a really cool way to have Catan as a filler by playing the Junior Edition.
Oh, interesting.
I was very surprised. I'll tell you this right now, Richard. What's the coolest thing about it? Instead of like cities or developments or roads and stuff, it's all been changed to the roads are pirate ships and the cities are pirate layers.
Okay.
So it's like you got pirates all over the place. I mean, how cool is that? And the game plays, a 2-player game, you can knock it out in like 20 minutes. And it gives you all the flavor of Catan.
Including trade between players?
That is actually the advanced variant in Junior.
I see.
They actually have a market where you can trade with a changing market, which I think is actually a really clever way to do it. Mm-hmm. And then the advanced version, yes, you can introduce to your younger gamers, hey, now you can trade with your fellow players and stuff. But I was pleasantly surprised with that game. I'll let you know right now.
Wow.
Pleasantly surprised.
Then folks just got a bonus 3rd Ruel Ranks, an incomplete one, because it's sitting solid at 3 votes, and it was the loser. Star Wars Outer Rim makes a big jump at the last second, and I can see somebody contributed 670 channel points to make that happen.
It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me, folks. So kudos to you. Wow.
All
Star Wars.
Then.
And so we're going to do 2 of these, correct?
Yes. Oh, let's see. What was number 2? But can I still see? How do
Ticket to Ride Europe.
Oh, yeah. Number 2 is Ticket to Ride Europe. At 118 votes to 123, Mechs versus Minions, which was in the lead for most of it, could not go the distance and came in at 109. Micro Macro at 34. Boy, I guess what's it called? The bloom is off that lily, right? Because that was super hot for a little while. And then Catan Jr., only 3 people. All right, tell us all about. Oh, actually, hold on a second. Let me go to YouTube. Ruel Gaviola.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell us and show us. I just need to go to the Ruel Gaviola channel because you had an epic May the 4th day where you played. And did you say it was your first time playing when you did this?
It was. So I was literally, I learned the game the night before. Okay. But, it was a work in progress, basically. I had an epic May 4th where I streamed for like about 6-7 hours. Where I would take breaks during the stream, of course. But I played Star Wars Outer Rim. I answered trivia questions. There's like a Star Wars trivia game that Michelle got me years ago that I played with chat, and then I also built a Star Wars X-wing Lego set, which was a lot of fun. But as you can see here in the video, that's Star Wars Outer Rim.
Tell us about Star Wars Outer Rim.
We are the scoundrels of the universe. All the bounty hunters and whatnot, of the scum and villainy, if you will. And you pick a different character. Different characters there. I played as Han Solo, and my AI opponent was Jyn Erso. It's at its core, it's a pick up and delivery game.
Yeah.
what you're doing, you're trying to, gather resources and deliver them, whether it's to, you can actually make the Kessel Run here, like the classic Star Wars storyline, and you can also, fight the baddies, but you're mainly trying to just, gather your missions, complete missions by a simple pick up and deliver. But what this does in spades is deliver on the theme. I mean,
Sure.
it is so thematic. Fantasy Flight, I mean, they spared no expense. You have all the characters, you have all the artwork, you have all the cool bits and pieces of the Star Wars universe. I was a little, I wasn't really sure what to expect from this game, but of course I ended up loving it because it's Star Wars and it gave me all the feels and all the when I'm, hey, look, I just picked up Chewbacca. He can join my crew. Like, I was so fired up. Or, Jyn Erso's, she's going to beat me to that, whatever planet it was that she's going to, deliver goods. I need to keep pace. I got my, we're still PG-13 here. I got my butt kicked in this one here. But it was a fun learning experience. I think anyone that's a Star Wars fan will enjoy this one. It is by designer Corey Knopska. I always forget how to say his name.
I always say Corey Knopska. That's probably wrong, but it's what's in my head now. Hey, Corey.
Yeah,
you're
Corey
great.
K. Yes, Corey K is great. He's worked on a lot of big Fantasy Flight games. Now there you can see I'm doing a little dice roll. You're going to do checks, versus your it's all different abilities that you can check depending on, are you trying to be a scoundrel, are you trying to sneak away from someone, or there is some combat, ship versus ship, hand to hand combat. I mean, it's got everything. It's a lot of fun, and overall I'm gonna have to give it. Oh, there I am with my Yoda,
with your Yoda hat,
knitted hat there.
I was disappointed to see you did not wear your Wookiee sweatshirt, but
my Wookiee hoodie.
The Wookiee hoodie, but
it was way too hot in here after a couple of hours. Yeah, but I'm I love this game. I don't think it's like the most complex game out there as under the Star Wars banner, but it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna go with, oh gosh, I love this game. I probably love this more than I should. Let's go 8.01.
Jeez Louise.
8.01.
Okay, now you started to say, I mean, is it too long for its relative lightweight?
That's probably my one concern. Now, of course, you can vary the points that you can get there. So instead of a race to 10, it could be like a race to 8 or 7 or something like that. But I'm still going with 8.1.
Yeah, okay.
It's Star Wars, folks, and it's really well done. I'm all over it. I love it. So that's it. Star Wars Outer Rim, 8.01 on my rankings.
Okie dokie. And I believe the other winner chicken dinner was Ticket to Ride Europe, right?
Yeah, Ticket to Ride Europe.
Ticket.
Did I don't know if I've streamed this. I know you've streamed it.
No, I don't think I ever have. I'm pretty sure I have.
Oh, you haven't done a video on it?
Rahdo Ticket to Ride. I think the only Ticket to Ride I've done is London.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So we'll just look at
Europe,
some pretty pictures on Board Game Geek.
Yeah. Wow, Europe, it's been a while since I played. I know they added, the big thing they added were what are they called?
The
stations?
right there. The I don't remember what they're called either. The transfer house things. And there were tunnels.
Tunnels
that you had to burn, and then there were these you're right. I haven't played it for years either.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's been a while because again, I've talked about this before on the show. Michelle and I, if we're gonna play Ticket to Ride, we're gonna play one of two Ticket to Rides, either the small box one like New York, or if we want the bigger experience, we're playing with the Pennsylvania expansion, which adds stocks and stuff like that. But as you can see there, pretty picture there.
Stations.
You've got,
yes. Somebody in the they're stations and tunnels were the two
stations,
and of course a Europe map.
Yeah. Which is wonderful. I mean, it's all everything you love about Ticket to Ride, just with a different map, and you have those different things as well. From what I remember, this cuts down on that certain strategy that you do in the base game, where you just try to connect everything and then try to get those destination tickets that line up with the big 20 pointers and stuff.
Yep.
There's not as much as that, and there are certain spaces where you can only pay or put trains on there with, I think, the Jokers, the wild ones.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I forget that. So it's like you start off on like one of the edges of the map. But again, wow, what that person make there.
I don't know.
I love all the Ticket to Rides that I've played. This is one of them. And it's always going to rank highly for me because Ticket to Ride, the original one, is the one that got Michelle into the hobby. So I always have fond thoughts of that. And we played a couple of games of Ticket to Ride Europe as well, which we enjoyed. I ranked the original Ticket to Ride a 9.
Wow.
A 9.
Okay.
The original. So how can I rate Ticket to Ride Europe? And honestly, I did that 9 right when I got the hobby. I'd probably rank it a little lower now. But Ticket to Ride Europe, wow. It's got to be an 8. At least an 8 for me.
It is driving me nuts. I remember the tunnels, like you said. I think they were, you have to pay for wild cards to do them.
Yeah.
But what did the stations do? What did the stations do?
I think you could. Was that the one where you could use other people's trains in your?
Stations allow you to sacrifice points in order to use an opponent's route to connect yours. Right, there you go. Okay.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So you did. It was coming back to you, even as I was doing a Control F. Right, there we go. Yeah. Okay. So that was the thing. So a little bit more positive interaction between players.
Right.
So you love Ticket to Ride. Well, here's the deal. Would you rather play straight Ticket to Ride or Europe?
I'd probably want to play Europe.
Yeah, with the stations and the tunnels that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little tunnels. Yeah. Oh man. But the thing is, I feel like I have to retroactively re-rate the base game Ticket to Ride now. Because I would rather play Ticket to Ride Europe, but I don't think it's a 9. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean.
So.
Okay. So you're just saying the Ticket Ride franchise as a whole is no longer a 9 out of 10, one of the greatest games you've ever played. Now, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Ticket to Ride is still one of the greatest games you've ever played.
Yes.
It deserves that 9. Even if you maybe have gotten burned out on it, it doesn't change the fact that it's objective gameplay qualities. There's a reason it's, King of the World and Cock of the Walk, and I just got a little blue there, but it's a phrase. People use it in non-dirty ways. And, yeah, I mean, it's such a brilliant design. And honestly, I always thought Europe, until I played London, which is the fast little super hypercharged filler. And now I could never play a full game of Ticket to Ride ever again because Ticket to Ride should be a 15-minute game. But before that, Europe, I probably played about half of all the various maps over the years, and Europe was always my favorite because it kind of straddled the line between just the pure, basic, clean elegance of Ticket to Ride with just a little bit extra. Most of the stuff, like you love that stock market. I mean, to me, that just goes. Okay, it's no longer clean and elegant anymore, whereas this is still nice and visible. And also, the Europe map, even though it's very big, works well for 2 because it has a better, a bunch of short, a combination of short and long tracks. So to me, Europe was always the premier big box Ticket to Ride experience until, like I said, I experienced London or New York, or now there's Amsterdam, and I think they just announced a 4th one, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. Was it? Yeah, they did. But yeah, so how do I rank this? I mean, the franchise as a whole, I'm still going to go with a 9 because the influence it's had, as you said, the gameplay is still sharp and streamlined and elegant. So based on that, well, you know what? I'll do this. Just like Outer Rim, I'm going to go 9.01. That's my landing. Yeah.
Do this long enough, and you'll start.
I ranked the original. Yep.
You'll start giving everything 4 decimal points. If you stick with me, kid, you're going places. Okay, I completely agree with that. What's 100%? Ticket to Ride Europe, the best Ticket to Ride other than the Super Duper Express ones. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but Ticket to Ride should not take 40 minutes. Ticket to Ride should take 15 to 20. And I assume for like super duper hardcore Ticket to Ride aficionados, the full game does take 20 minutes. But for me, it doesn't. But you play those super hyper efficient ones, which again are also super tight mats, so they're more interesting from a 2-player perspective. They all add something new and different. And plus, it's not trains, it's buses or cabs or similar. So that's fun to see different stuff too.
Agreed. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, it's a hugely influential game, and it's sold over 3-4 million copies since its release.
It's made Alan Moon rich.
Yeah,
and not just board game rich, but rich.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. I've never met the man, but I'm assuming so.
I mean, is he rich enough to buy Twitter? That's what I'm going to say.
Let's see here. Okay.
What else do we got to do?
Let's see. That was Ruel Ranks, marked as complete, and another one marked as complete. Next up, hey, let's do some Trivial Pursuits from Nazgoth. I think we are down. It's a 50-50 shot between you or me. Let me find the wheel again. All right. I got to turn on the wheel. And it'll show up any second. And so
50-50 shot.
Yep. We're going to flip that coin. Whose trivia will be on display today, per Nazgoth's requests. Looks
Yeah,
like.
it's like
Oh, I almost dodged it.
Wow.
That was very close.
Wow.
And next time the wheel comes up, it will be reset with. So I think that's fair enough because I think that I've dodged the last few. I think it's been pretty heavy on you.
Yeah.
So
No
I
worries.
need to do some trivia about myself, and I'm terrible at coming up with trivial bits of information about me. Ask me
we've
something
talked
about
about
myself. Have we had any kind of lingering thing that I've dropped hints about recently?
Oh gosh, we've talked about your days as a vacuum salesman. We talked about. I thought that was a wonderful story about finding your was it half sister?
Yes.
I believe
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. We've talked about you and Jen in college before.
Okay, I've got one. I've got one. Hey, Ruel.
Okay.
Hey, Ruel. What's the best way to put this question? There's a couple of ways I can put it. I might not be happy with this one after I'm done, but hey, Ruel, how old was I when I made the most important decision of my life?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. How old were you when you made the most important decision of your life?
Oh, you're gonna guess?
I don't know. You know what? Okay, so let me. I'm gonna see if I can suss this out. If you met Jen in college, I'm gonna assume the most important decision is when you decide to get married. So I'm gonna say you're 21.
Well done, Sherlock. Close, but no cigar. Because
really?
you had to walk backwards. There was a causal chain of events, you see. The most important decision I ever made in my life, I like to think of as literally the first real decision I made in my life, too. Because as a kid, yeah, you make decisions about who you're going to play with, but nothing of any importance. I mean, everything that's important in your life is chosen for you. Maybe your parents will say, well, do you want to take a judo class or a karate class? But that doesn't matter. But my freshman year of high school, I was 14, because I was actually a year behind everybody else, right? 14, 15, 16. No, I was 15. No, I was still 14. That's neither here nor there. So I was 14 years old, and for my freshman year of high school, I had to decide, am I going to take Spanish or German? Those were the two foreign language classes, and I had to pick one of them, and I chose German. Which meant I took German for 2 years in high school. That gave me enough base groundwork so that when I got to college at the University of Washington, I skipped German 101 and went to German 102. And who sat down next to me on the first day of class in German 102?
Wow.
Yep.
You meant in German? For some reason, I thought you had an English class with Jen.
Wrong language, right idea.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So because of that, the butterfly effect, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And now here's the deal. I chose to take German for the stupidest reason too. Because
what was that?
I didn't really care one way or the other. I just knew, my high school required that I take a foreign language, and those were the two options. And I thought, foolishly, German was closer to English and therefore would be the easier language to learn. And that is not the case at all. In fact, Spanish is just about the easiest language to learn. I've heard this several times, by far. And so I should have taken Espanol. Plus, board games aside, in my day-to-day life, Spanish would be a much more useful language to be able to drop in. I mean, I don't live in L.A. like you do, but I have enough run-ins that it would be genuinely useful to habla just a little bit of Espanol as opposed to the Neureinbition of Deutsch that I can carry around with me. Which, to be fair, does help at Essen and does help with some board games. But yeah, I took it because I thought it would be easier, because it was a time before the internet when you could actually search and find out what's the easiest language for an English speaker to learn? Spanish.
Yeah.
What's hard? German, as it happens.
Interesting.
Although German's kind of not a super hard one. It's kind of a midweight one.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing.
So you sat right next to Jen in that class.
Yeah. Sat right down next to her. Jen, she also, I would argue, took German in high school for a dumb reason.
Oh, really?
Because in her high school, again, it's the same choice, German or Spanish. And she chose German because both classes were taught by a native German speaker. And Jen was afraid that, if she went there to learn Spanish, she would learn Spanish with a German accent. Which that's not how it works. So
funny.
we both did, wildly misassumed the nature of the German language. We both chose it on ill-conceived foundations, and that's what led us to meet in German 102. And
wow.
yeah, that's
so
it.
did you start talking because like, hey, let's study together? Is that how you're...
Here's the deal. What I like to call the Rahdo persona. What I'm doing with you today. We have actually hung out in real life now, and you have probably noticed that in real life I'm not quite so bounce off the wall all the time. I'm a bit more sedate. I'm a bit more withdrawn. I'm a bit more. I'll just let everybody else talk. Is kind of my natural predilection. In high school, I was a very shy, withdrawn kid with the hoodie up all the time before hoodies up was a thing. Everybody thought I was the Unabomber because who else wears their hoodie up all the time? And, but there was this one kid who realized I could be a really fast on my feet, sarcastic, witty guy. And he forced me, via the principal, to be cast in a school play. And overnight, suddenly, the entire school thought, oh, that's who you are. Is that the same guy that we saw in junior years? And like, well, who is he? And so I ended up overnight having to become a very popular kid, going from completely shy, quiet, withdrawn, nobody look at me, nobody notice me, to life of the party, bouncing off the wall, because that's literally the role I played in this play. I'm like, okay, well, I studied it for weeks to play it in the play. I guess I can do it in my day-to-day life too. Just like, being bouncy, snappy, upbeat, peppy guy. And because everybody expected of me. I go to college and I keep doing it. And about 2 weeks into college, I realized, oh, wait, nobody knows me here. I don't have to do this anymore. And so I start to stop. But during that 2-week thing, the first day in German 102, I sit next to Jen. I just gave her the full Rahdo. It was like, oh, who's sitting next to me? Okay. Oh, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? And, and doing all this kind of life of the party stuff because I trained myself to do it for 2 years in high school. And so she's like, oh, wow, he's fun. And we were, I think we had a subsequent class that we would walk together. So I just kept doing it with her. And so we just kind of, became friends and then started dating and all of that. But it's only because of that weird little window. If we'd seen each other in the next semester or quarter or whatever, would have gone a completely different way because I just would have sat next to her and probably would have said hello and just kept my head in the book.
Wow.
So yeah, my life is a extreme series of coincidences and near misses and all that kind of stuff.
Wow. And Goblin says it's kind of like a Superman Clark Kent thing, right?
Yeah. I could maybe pull off the Superman Clark Kent thing, I suppose.
That's so fascinating to me. Wow, thanks for sharing that story. That's fantastic. It's just funny how you just never know in life. One little thing like that. What if you decided to take Spanish instead?
If I had, your life has changed too. You wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody watching this chat, everybody who's going to watch this video, everything in the universe, all of our collective universe has changed. In my case, a lot. In some people's cases, a little. Because I chose German instead of Spanish for the entirely wrong reason. At the age of 14.
I love it. Yep. It's funny. That was the language I took in high school too, German.
Really?
And I didn't remember a lick of it when I went to college. So in college, I ended up studying French just because, And like you said, I should have been studying Spanish. I mean, I know some Spanglish just because I've been, living in Southern California. Yeah, so I can get around and, order food and stuff like that. But yeah, I wish I would be like Michelle is actually, I mean, she's not fluent, but her Spanish is way better than mine. But yeah, it's a great story. That is fantastic. So
thank you.
There's your Trivial Pursuit, friends.
Yep. Alrighty, let's see. Here's a quick shout out. Gadam Gray asked, are we looking for new top 10 ideas? Have we ever done a top 10 most gorgeous game covers? And correct me if I'm wrong, Ruel, we just did a couple weeks ago, didn't we? Didn't we do a top 3 favorite board game art?
Artists, right? Wasn't it artists, I think?
If I recall correctly, I remember pulling up my list on screen and just going through and saying, okay, I like that cover, I like that cover, I like that cover. I think we did actual game covers.
Yeah, but that was like a top 3 that we were doing.
Exactly.
I think you're right. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So, Gadam, I apologize, but because you did a shout out, let's give you something. Ruel, what is the prettiest box around me? What do you like?
Oh,
of what you can see.
Prettiest
you can
box
see that far. And
so many good ones.
I'll just get kind of down out of the way a little bit.
Look at you. Okay. Oh.
Out of the way, chair.
I always like that. I always like that Origins first box. That one's good.
Okay.
Decorum is real pretty. I mean, I just love the splash of color there.
Yes.
I love the game Zapotec. I don't know if that cover really speaks to me though. Not really sure.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good, but I wouldn't say it's best of all
Yeah.
time.
Is that Pulsar 2849 behind?
Yes, it is. Good eye.
I love that game. I think that's a cool cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good cover. Let's get this chair all the way.
Oh wow. Predaporter. It's a Wonderful World. I always, again, it's not my favorite cover, but I think it's the coolest box is the film one, Roll Camera. I think that's the neatest box.
It is because of the clapper. Yes, that is very, very nice. Yeah. I agree.
Yep.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know what you have failed to catch it so far because there is one obvious choice.
Where is it?
Does anybody? Oh, yeah. I'll say it's on that wall over there. It's not on this wall.
That wall there. I mean, I don't see Castle of Burgundy over there. I see Castle of Tuscany.
All right, I'm getting back up. Oh.
Yeah, I give up. What are we looking at here?
Hold on a second. Islands of the Mist.
Oh, Islands of the Mist. Yeah.
Overhead view. Oh, my camera's way over there. No, my camera can't reach. No, it can. Here we go. This box cover is... Oh, I've messed up my green screen now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That is one of the most stunning box cover. I mean, it's so evocative. I mean, the use of color. This is a really common thing I notice more and more in board games with the star always looking away from us, which I think makes sense because these games are all about putting us in the world, and the characters we play are largely abstracted out of the experience. So who's that person with the scarf doesn't really matter because that's us. I mean, I love the look of this. It's kind of a quasi steampunk with all the little doodads on it. I mean, this is how I'd want to do a hot air balloon with propellers and this really cool telescope and stuff. I'm a sucker for stuff rising mysteriously out of the mists, which of course is what this game is all about, the islands in the mist. I think this is a stunning, stunning piece of art. I absolutely love it. So
beautiful artwork. Any idea who the artist is?
That's a good question. Ow, boy. Nope, just the designer.
Okay.
But Board Game Geek will fill you in on that. All right.
Yeah.
So that was a quick shout out. Just a very, and honestly, one I don't think it occurred to me to mention when we did our quickie off the top of our head top 3. But yeah, I mean, looking around, I think that's my favorite of all the art that's on my wall that you folks can see within the confines of this camera.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. Very nice call.
Cool. Well, you know what? Okay. It is 12:40. What do you say we actually try to get ahead of the curve for once?
I like that. That way we can have some time afterwards for some Q&A, because I see the queue right now. There is a bunch of Q&A out there.
Yes. So we already have a queue. Well, then let's do it. Okay. So before we get going, though, we have to crown one lucky winner. So let me come back over to the browser. Or not that kind of winner. A winner of what were we giving away? Oh, it's Encyclopedia.
Game winner.
Yeah, it's the Encyclopedia, the deluxe box set. I believe, I'm pretty sure it was the full. I could be wrong about that. It might have just been the base, but I think it was the full. But either way, Encyclopedia is fantastic from Holy Grail Games. And who gets it? Let's shuffle a couple more times. And boom. Go.
Yeah, good luck, everybody. There we go, round and round.
You can do it, somebody. Whoever you are, I believe in you.
Look at that.
It got a little glitchy there at the end. Catherine Sace. Congratulations, Catherine. Hoorah, we have a winner.
Hey.
All right, Catherine, I will be in touch after the show. Congratulations. You are in for a treat. This is a wonderful, wonderful game. And cool. That is that. And, of course, we are... What are we... Oh, because... remember when we had the 2 recent episodes that were sponsored by Arcane Wonders, and they could only do North America, so we had to have the other stuff. Those 2 were both of those were American winners, so the Arcane Wonders stuff went. So we're going to be taking our second stab today of giving away the Azul Queen's Pavilion bundle thing. Nice. So that's what we're giving away today. But what is our secret word?
Yeah, what have we been talking about? We ranked some games. We talked about you in German. You want to throw in some? I don't know,
should never be too hard to throw in the word German or something akin to that in whenever you're talking about board games. Right.
Let's see. what else were we talking about? I mean, I love that story that you shared about you and Jen in college. I mean, meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
Took German. You were in that play. You got cast in a play to be a life of the party.
The name of the play was Vagabond, and I was the titular title. I was the Vagabond. The play,
Vagabond.
it was a dark and stormy night at a roadside inn, and I believe colonial era America. It was never really stated exactly when, but something like that. And so it was all the interior, and I was like the third character on screen. I just kick open the door and I immediately start singing, and everybody's confused because I'm basically a sitcom character surrounded by a bunch of kind of more serious characters. And it's like a comedy farce because then there's a murder and who was responsible, and there's lots of shooting, and then the cops show up, or the colonial army shows up and tries to figure out, this is a bunch of stuff. But I don't think I can work Vagabond in anyway.
I could. I'm looking at mine. There's no way I can do that. Let's see.
The ironic thing is, I don't know I want to use German either because it'd be really obvious. Because of the 5 I'm talking about today, 4 of them are not German. So I would have to put it in the one game I'm talking about today is from a German designer.
Yeah, there's... Yeah, one of mine, maybe 2 of mine... Yeah, a German film. Yeah, well, let's see. What else can we? Let's turn to our friends in chat.
Yeah, what have we been talking about? Oh, Tippy Canoe.
What
hoodie?
Tippy Canoe.
Balloon. Wow. From the hot air balloons of Island in the Mist. Station. The word we could not think of.
Station. Yeah. Can I do station? Maybe I could get station in. Let me see. What are some of the other? Tippy Canoe, Corey K. People were talking about Michael Menzel. He's the one that did the art for.
Is that Michael Menzel? It sure looks like it. Good. Yeah,
he
that
is
makes
a great
sense.
artist.
Yeah, I believe it. Michael Menzel, my top 10 favorite artists of all time. No surprise. I should shout him out. I didn't even realize that was a Menzel, but it certainly looks like it. I believe it.
Oh, Scum or Villainy. Yeah, that's a good one.
Kabuki Kid, thank you. I was trying to think of, it's the Bill and Ted quote, Station!
A station. Nice. Kabuki. Scum or Villainy. I can work with that.
Okay, you want to do that?
Let's do Scum.
Scum. Because you were Scum and Villainy in the Star Wars Outer Rim? That's fine with me.
Yep.
Secret word is Scum.
Scum, folks. SCUM, and we'll remind you when we do the show here.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I do like, Ulven Skull says, Germain, unusable in any context and almost German. I actually use Germain in just regular conversation a lot. I probably could have thrown Germain in without too terribly much trouble.
Oh, wow.
I'm always saying whether something is germane to the topic at hand. I say that all the time. At least I think I do. Maybe I don't. I think it all the time. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So you're up. Folks, during the show, you get the secret info. Ruel, at some point, is going to say the word scum. And then you'll have to do all the contests and blippity-blop, and you know all the rest of it. Okay. Cool. Right. Congratulations.
Okay, so no game on the table this week.
Nope. Yeah, no game on the table. Yeah, just a pretty simple, straightforward thing. Because we're giving away Azul, and honestly, I don't have Azul Summer Pavilion, so I actually I went out and found a screenshot of when we did have it and we played it, and so I'll just throw that on the screen when we're talking about it.
Perfect.
Yeah, because you've still got my Azul Queen's Garden.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yep,
yeah.
That's good stuff. Anyway, though.
And okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you ready? Oh, Battle Royale says Bing. Of course.
Yes, there it is.
Of course. It's not the R&R show without people rending each other. Alrighty. Battle Royale with cheese. So there it goes. All right, and I've hidden the words so we'll be able to see all the carnage unimpeded. Oh, we got a big turnout.
Oh, wow.
All right, Tibby Baloo
good one.
Immediately runs away from me, and me and Kabuki Kid throw down immediately. Oh, we're going toe-to-toe. And then I run away from the scrum and try to get away from all the action. Me and Fidelia throwing down now. And oh man, I just got to get away from everybody. Meeples and mocktails. Oh, I'm down to half life. And cherished manner. Nice to meet you. Let me kill ya. I just did. And then Meeples and mocktails returned the favor, got me in the back. And who gets the health pack? It is LS 124. Although it did not help, LS gets stabbed in the back by Billy Pratt. Bye-bye. Okay. The crowd is thinning out. Nazgoth looks in trouble. I don't know if those double hammers are going to save you, buddy. I think Fidelia is going to go for the killing blow. Oh, but Fidelia lets you live, and you take off a little bit before Genzi stabs you in the back. And then Fidelia runs to the health pack. Fidelia, keep going. Don't turn around. Get to, oh, Fidelia. All right. Billy Pratt, meanwhile, it's Billy Pratt's fight to win. He killed me, and now he's coming for Fidelia. And it looks like he's going to get that health pack before Fidelia. Oh, you might as well enjoy that ice cream cone while you can, Fidelia, because you're not long for this world, I'm afraid. Billy Pratt with his Punisher skull and his demon wings. A sweet little innocent kitty cat with a coffee and ice cream. Never had a chance. The world is unfair, and Billy Pratt is the winner. That rebel scum, says Bing. 413.
Good times. All right.
That is all very silly.
Everyone gets regenerated. Billy gets his their 100 gold.
Yep.
And Brenner, I took you out. Oh, cool. I missed that. Cool.
Yeah, you haven't done any customization at all. You've earned some
No,
points by
I'm
now.
just the straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just a little cute kitten face. Gaviola, they call you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
All right.
Alrighty, so you're saying the word scum. We don't have anything on the table today, so we can just get right into the show because the giveaway is something I genuinely do not have, so I can't put it on the table. And yeah, we're doing 20 to 11. Is there anything I'm not thinking about?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
Kabuki points out she has never customized her avatar either, but her default is pretty freaking cool. You know, Kabuki basically looks like a ninja with a Old West bandana, and I think it's a really good look. Your sweet, adorable kitty cat face isn't bad either, I suppose.
Yeah, kitty cat's cool.
Okay. Cool. Let's see here. Oh, and we did confirm before we started that you can update the banner at the bottom, right? So you're set to do that. All right.
We're good there.
Cool. Then I can minimize you, and let me make sure everything is fine because Chrome did crash on me earlier. I had all 10 tabs open, but of course now they're all gone. So let me just quickly run through them and make sure they are fine.
I should probably shut down some tabs as well now that
Everybody
you're
has
bringing it up. Yeah. Okay. Let me see.
Oh shoot. Okay. Crap.
Opinion is also amazing. Everyone is going to start out as a lowly kingdom with just 7 easy.
So here's a problem. Here's what happens, Ruel, when Chrome crashes and you have just pasted a bunch of YouTube URLs, but you haven't entered them yet because I don't want to know. I mean, I have links to all the videos for your things, but I didn't look at any of them because I want to be surprised. And so I just had pasted them in, and now they're all gone. But I do still have the original list. That's okay. I can just do them as I go, I think. Yeah, it'll be fine because we always have that little bit of time where you say what it is, we talk about it a little bit, and then I bring it on screen because that's me frantically trying to get it together. I just have a little bit more work to do. Some of my setup was wasted, unfortunately. But
I was going to say I could drop links in the Discord.
No, I mean I've already got them. It's just I had them actually in Chrome. Now while we're live, I'll have to redo them as we go. But that's okay.
Understood.
I've still got them handy dandy. I think. Cool. Do I have them all? Yes. Numbers 20 through 12. I don't know what they are. I just know what the YouTube links are. So that'll work. Okay, cool. So, cool. All right. Then I'm ready to go.
Okay. Good to go.
Okay. Oh, Forrest wanted a story. He wants me to take the time to set it all up properly so you can tell us a story. But you dodged storytelling time because you didn't have to come up with any trivia today.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to come up with a good story for next time.
I'd like to think that was a tough story to follow, quite frankly. That's one of my better ones.
Yeah.
I realized that probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know why I was thinking about it, but like, what's the most momentous, important thing I ever decided to do in my life? And, of course, it's like, say hello to Jen. But like, no, that wasn't the decision. That was me just on autopilot, just doing my Rahdo thing. How did I get there? And I walked backwards and I realized at the age of 14, the first decision I ever made of any great importance turns out to be the most important one of my life. I mean, everybody can work their way backwards to something like that. Okay, here's the chain of events that led me to meet my soulmate or get the perfect job or whatever it was. But it was a fun thought exercise. I recommend everybody do it.
You know, I was going to say, I'm going to do this. I've got to do it because now I'm thinking about all my life decisions and like how far can I trace it back and
exactly.
which is the momentous one.
At what point did you truly show agency in a meaningful way in your life? It's just an interesting thought process.
It is.
Yeah.
I will have to do it. All right, cool.
Okie doke. So then I've got this queued up. You know what? I'm going to pin this so it doesn't keep going into the background. And let's see. Okay, so we just need the... Oh, but you know what? I did not set up I need to... Right, we're not sponsored by a merchant or guild. I need to fix this too. So you could tell a story while it takes a second to find the R&R logo.
That's a good game.
Box. Yes, it is. It is so good. So you played it, right? You have a copy of it?
Yes. Yeah, I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like it a lot.
But you're not as crazy as me to say it's the best game of 2022 so far.
Yeah, I don't know. That far. I mean, it's definitely one of the best, but I don't know if it's the best. But you're saying it's the best one you played in 2022 so far.
Well, I mean, I have 7 retail games from 2022 I've played so far, and I rate it the highest of those 7. So, I mean, it's a bit bigger statement than it really sounds like. Or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, so done. Okay. And what? No, oh, shoot, that's the wrong thing. I changed the wrong logo this whole time. I need to change this one. All right, try again. Or actually, undo that other thing I did. Cancel, Control-Z. Sorry, folks. This is fun for you. And Forrest is saying, where's my story? Rahdo was supposed to vamp, and I'm totally vamping because I'm incompetent.
Yeah.
And Ruel's not telling a story.
I'll do some vamping while you figure that out. Yeah. Story time. What's a good story for me? Well, oh, wow. I just saw the little collage you put up there. I haven't seen that one in a while.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Show. That's the original one, I think, that you came up with.
Yep. It still works. It still works. All right. I just need to get to fit to screen.
Did we?
There we go.
I think we talked about this, but that picture of you with all the boxes, was that in Essen?
Yes. That is me in Essen Spiel. That is the first time I had actually attempted to do that. I mean, because prior to that, our plan was always we took a bunch of we took the biggest, each of us did our carry-ons and our check bags, and they were both. So I was 4 full boxes of luggage. And this was the first time I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get a bunch of boxes. I'm going to mail them back to us in Malta. And so that was me carrying around. I mean, there's probably, 40, 50 games in all those boxes. And here's the problem. I get them to the German post office, and I find out that, you should have put all of this in one big box. All combined, this would have cost you about 50 euros. In all these individual little boxes, this is going to cost you 300 euros to send back home.
Oh my gosh.
And like,
no.
Because those are boxes that, the publishers, when you go to Essen, there's just tons of cardboard boxes everywhere because they get all their stuff here. They throw the boxes off into piles. I'm like, I'll just grab a bunch of these boxes. And if I instead had grabbed one gigantic box, and there were plenty of those too, I would have saved myself. It was at least 200 euros in shipping. So I'm smiling there in that picture. About 45 minutes from then, I am definitely not smiling. So that's my story with that one.
Yep, and Goblin reminds me, Ruel was supposed to tell the story. You like that, folks? How I was able to vamp by getting Richard to tell.
Well, quick, tell us a story about one of your images here.
Let me see. Oh, that image right next to it. I am playing Twilight Imperium with my good friends Jake and Katie Michaels.
Okay.
They are a just a very cool couple. They're super talented. They worked at I worked with them at Geek and Sundry, and now I work with them at the Good Time Society with Becca Scott. And that game of Twilight. Oh no, actually, I was gonna say this is the longest game I've played of Twilight. No, this one wasn't. Now that I think of it. This was TI4, Kabuki Kid, and this one was only, I think, like 6 hours.
Only 6.
Only 6 hours. I was
barely worth showing up for. It was so quick.
It was such a good time. That's Jake is the one. He's the gentleman who's responsible for me getting obsessed with the game. And, he had taught me the game. He had asked me. So I was on set one time, and we had shot a show. And then afterwards, he said, "Hey, Ruel, do you want to get together and play Twilight Imperium sometimes?" Like, oh, of course. I'd never played it before. And since that time, a couple of years ago, I've played the game, I think, 15 or 16 times now, mainly with Jake. Yeah, he is the best. He's a great.
So it's not so
game
much
teacher.
You love Twilight Imperium; it's that you love Jake.
I love Jake, and I gladly say that Jake is an amazing human being. So is his wife, beautiful wife Katie, they are expecting their first child real soon. So shout out to Jake and Katie. Fun fact: Jake is an actor, an improviser. He did stand-up comedy for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And his partner, wife Katie, she's been on a couple of shows that you may have heard of, and sure enough, I totally forgot what shows they were. Jane the Virgin is one of them. She was on that. Okay. Yeah, she's been on a couple of things. She did a commercial with Angelica Houston, which blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah. So, very talented people. Just wonderful, really. Michelle and I've we've done the double date thing with them a couple of times, and we always have a fantastic time with them. So there you go. There's a story, folks.
That's all very charming and wholesome. I have to admit, I was really hoping for an explanation of the Jeffrey Wright look-alike Ruel down in the bottom right corner.
Yeah,
I mean, you look like you're playing Felix from the Bond films, played by Jeffrey Wright to me in that picture. So that's the one I want to know about. What is that drink you're drinking? Where are you? What man of mystery business are you going on? But we can save that for another day.
Michelle and I went on a cruise to, I think that was down to Puerto Vallarta, I think. Was that it? Or was that down to, no, Ensenada. We were on a cruise, obviously, before the pandemic hit, and I'm just not going to be going on cruises for
exactly,
the time
yes.
being.
Yep.
But that was an adult beverage. I believe it was a Mai Tai, because that's what you do on a cruise, right? You drink drinks with umbrellas.
It is required, yes.
Yes.
You get on board, they hand one to you, make you drink it on the
spot. Yeah, that was actually the first time I've ever been on a cruise. Michelle had gone before. I'd never gone, so we went, and it's just one of those weekenders from Southern California down to Mexico and back, like 4 days or something. A lot of fun, but I think if we were 21 years old rather than what we are now, we probably would have had a better time, because it was what they call it a booze cruise, and that's the focus of it. Yeah. So the young people were having a fantastic time. Well, we had a great time too, but we weren't doing the nightclubs. We weren't doing the all you can drink thing and everything like that.
Wow. Yeah. I just realized,
but good times.
That was probably 3 minutes of a static image. Also, not particularly compelling. That moment was better for the podcast folks to make up for the terrible unpodcast friendly portions we already had on the show. Okay.
There you go.
So, cool. Well, I'm sure there's a story behind every one of those pictures, which I just literally just did a Google image search for Ruel Gaviola and picked a bunch that I liked and then a bunch that I liked. And I tried to lay them out in somewhat, like they were kind of, there's Ruel with Becca Scott. I should have a picture with, Michelle Gubernick. She's really great. No, there's one with Ruel's wife. I should do one with my wife. And so there is some symmetry going on between those two pictures. But we don't have much use for it anymore, but folks will be seeing it today. This is episode 41, correct?
This is 41, yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. Cool. Melina Gubernick, not Michelle Gubernick. I knew that was wrong. That was driving me nuts. I unfortunately do not have an equivalent. Well, I do. You've got a Wookiee seatbelt cover. I've got a live pigeon on my back. So there's all kinds of double meanings throughout this picture for people to find and explore.
And I'm guessing, like, all your pictures is that when you were in Malta?
This picture, the picture of me and the pigeon, that was in Milan.
Milan.
Or was it? It was no. That was in Venice. We took that picture. The other pictures are mostly. No, actually, okay. We can do this picture some other time. Perhaps somebody could use a shout out to say, "Hey, shout out! I want to hear more about that picture. I want to hear every story," and we could do that because we got to get on with the show. We were going to be done ahead of time, and now we've fallen behind because we fell down the rabbit hole of this picture.
Some things never change, folks.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty, then. We are ready to go. My sound is fine, your sound is fine, and we got our 20, and the secret word is scum, and you're saying it. Okay.
Get some water. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Here we go. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 41 of the R&R Show. And hello, Ruel. How are you doing?
And hello, Richard. I am fantastic as always. What about you, my friend?
I am doing okay. I've got a little something in my throat. I just took a swig of water. It doesn't seem to go away, so I might have to stifle the urge to cough violently throughout this whole thing. I'll try and do it off camera wherever possible. But that hiccup cannot stifle my enthusiasm for our penultimate. Can you believe it? The penultimate. I just love saying penultimate edition of the top 100 of all time. Numbers 20 to 11. Oh my goodness.
what a journey it has been. It's not over yet, but I'm gonna have to agree with you. I do like that word penultimate. I think we need to use it more often in general life. But I'm excited because as we've done this, I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot of the different games that we've covered, and I feel like now we're really narrowing it down to the best of the best, obviously. And I think I have a good feeling of what's on your list, and you probably have a good feeling what's on mine. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll see.
You're a bit of a wild card.
At least one of mine may be a surprise to you. At least one of them.
I think you might surprise me a bit more than you think. I'm going in with eyes wide open. Do you realize we've been doing this since February?
Wow, really?
Yes.
February? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we will not keep the folks waiting any longer. We will soon start counting down backwards from the number 20 to the number 11 and assign various and sundry games to it. But before we get to that, we have to I'm going to have to edit here a little bit because the audience is shouting at me to, hey, listen. What did they say?
What happened?
I'll try highlighting this first.
Sticker. Don't forget
the
scrolling banner.
Yep. Thank you. Totally forgot.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, no problem. Let me just mark that I will have to edit that little bit out. That was a good use of the hey, listen. Well done.
Perfect.
Like I said, it feels like it's been a year since we've done this. I've completely lost my mojo.
It's only been a week.
I forgot the F12.
I don't know why that is.
You know what threw me off? It's because I was trying to turn off the other things so that you could see the picture, and then I just totally forgot about everything. It all fell apart. But anyway, yes, thank you. Right, so put a mark.
Thank you for that, folks.
Doing this, okay. Right, and what was I just about to say? Okay, all right. But before we get going, we have to give stuff away. And this week, we are seeing a return of a very, very cool prize that one lucky viewer is going to win. It is an Azul bundle. And Ruel, I believe the last time we talked about this, you were saying that this is your wife Michelle's favorite version of Azul, the Summer Pavilion, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, she loves it. And she's actually the one that taught me this game. Normally, I'm the teacher in the house as far as board games, but Michelle, she's a real life teacher. And in this case, she actually taught me this game as well. At one of our local game nights before the pandemic, locked everything down, she taught me this. It's a beautiful version of Azul. As you can see there, the tiles are not the squares, they're more diamond shaped. Yeah. And there's a bunch of great little things that they do in this one. And she loves it. It's her favorite version. I'm still sort of like, I'm still trying to figure out which one was my favorite, but wow, this is excellent. I love the fact that we're giving away a bundle of stuff. It's not just the game. We're giving some other goodies.
Yeah. You also get the Azul mug, which is a very, very fine-looking thing, too. And one lucky winner will get it. But, Ruel, how do they get this Summer Pavilion in their life?
I'm glad you asked, Richard. The way you're going to win this, folks, is listen to our show here and keep an ear out for the word scum, S-C-U-M, as in scum. And when we say one of us says that word, you're going to not type in scum. You're going to type in the name of the game that we're talking about that moment. Send it in an email to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win the Azul bundle here.
Exactly, yes. So keep your ears peeled. One of us will say it at one point. You know where to send it, and Azul Summer Pavilion could be on the way to you. And that's very, very cool. So, with that out of the way, I believe we are ready to begin our penultimate countdown of the top 100 games of all time. Numbers 20 to 11. And I think, like always, you're going to kick it off, right, Ruel?
Yes, sir. I'm going to kick it off. Here we are. We're number 20.
Okay, sure.
This game, let's get it ready here. Number 20 is... there's no doubt about this one. The huge influence this has had on the industry in the last few years. It is Wingspan. Designer Elizabeth Hargrave, published by Stonemaier Games a few years ago. It's a game about birds, folks, and I had no idea that I would be so into this theme. I remember when this came out, Stonemaier announced it. I was like, "Oh, game about birds, that's cool," but I had no idea how good this game was going to be, and actually how fantastic this game was going to be. It's an engine building game. It's a very simple, streamlined system where you're drawing from a big deck of bird cards. You're going to lay them out eventually in your playmat area there, as you can see you and Jen playing there. And you're going to get this engine going of, producing eggs for points, and some of those birds are going to combo with other birds. and you're going to roll dice for resources. And I mean, it's just a beautiful production from start to finish. The game is fantastic. I remember Jamie, he had interviewed or talked to Elizabeth about this on one of the many interviews I've read about this. I mean, you could have read about this game on the Wall Street Journal, folks. This is how big this game got. He was talking about, how they loved the engine building of Terraforming Mars, and now it gave them the idea, why not have a big old deck of cards like that? But instead of like Terraforming Mars, we're going to make it a little more accessible. And this game you can play in about an hour. And what I love most about this game is that theme really I feel like it brought in a whole new generation of gamers. People that normally wouldn't pick a modern game up. They see, I mean, you can buy this at Target now, folks. Yeah. And it's like, oh, look, pretty birds. You get to the table, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, we are giving folks a modern masterpiece, a modern classic in Wingspan. And that's why it's our number 20, Wingspan.
Yep. Just don't play it with Mandy Patinkin, apparently.
I was going to bring that up, too. I love it. If you don't know, folks, Google or check it on YouTube. Mandy Patinkin trying to learn this with his family. It's hilarious.
It is,
but it doesn't take away from the fact that, in my opinion, this is a modern classic.
Yeah, I completely agree. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Basically, it's an engine building game where you're building 3 engines, each one which produces something that the other 2 engines need, trying to get all that stuff working in synchronicity. But then birds! Beautiful birds layered on top. Wonderful production. Absolutely fantastic. Worthy.
And I do want to bring up one last thing about the game. So, we're all about analog board games here. I do want to shout out the implementation they did on Steam, the app. It is one of the most beautiful implementations of a game I've seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. The animation, the music, the sounds, just chef's kiss, folks.
I almost put that video on for talking about this because I know you did a live stream of some other folks playing the digital implementation where the art of the cards literally comes to life as you play the cards.
Yes,
really beautifully done. Yeah,
cool. Awesome.
Alrighty, well, cool. a wonderful number 20. But as far as I'm concerned, an even better 19, Manhattan Project Energy Empire, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh boy, where to start? Well, basically, I've said this more than once, and I will stand by it. As far as this is probably the best worker placement game I've ever played, or the game, a nice big crunchy Euro that leverages worker placement better than just about any other one I've ever done. And it's because of the really interesting dynamics of how you place your workers out. Essentially, we are each player running a modern real-world country and economy, trying to provide power for our people so our country and our society can succeed. And so we are focusing on building power plants that will, generate energy in lots of different ways. But the beautiful thing about this game is as we start drafting cards that represent different means to an end, whether it is, building infrastructure, whether it is investing in government that can do subsidies or what have you, we end up getting all these cards played in front of us that are different colors. And we get to activate those cards when we send our workers to matching spaces on the board. So it's a really interesting engine that we have built off to the side that is driven by our propensity to send our workers to different spots on the board. So what if I've got an engine that I really want to run, but I don't want to do the actions that'll run the engine, and trying to, build with your ultimate goal of really being efficient at all times is just absolutely stunning. The game is very thematic, heavily grounded. It's a wonderful production, cool custom dice and all the rest of it. And it's just one of Jen's and my favorites of all time. It's interesting. It's actually a sequel to a previous worker placement game called just Manhattan Project, which in and of its own right was a very, very sharp design, but that one was a bit too cutthroat for me and Jen. Manhattan Project Energy Empire, which is set basically 60 years after the original game, took the cutthroat out, really upped the engine building and the crisscross between worker placement, and made one of the best games of all time. Number 19, the Manhattan Project Energy Empire.
Nice. Yeah, I was wondering where this would land. I know how highly you think of this game.
I think very highly.
Top 20. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to our number 18 after that wonderful game. This is one I know that you're going to appreciate. Our number 18, top 100 games of all time, Roll for the Galaxy. And we're just talking about engine building. This one does it. You're building the space empires, folks, and with a bunch of dice. And Oh, gosh, I love this game. This was actually one of the first games I played when I got into the hobby, and honestly, it intimidated the heck out of me because all the icons.
Yes.
I was like, I'd never played a game with this many icons, but once I got through the first couple of rounds, like, okay, things start making sense. Okay, now we're doing, we're taking actions behind our little screen. We're going to set up these things. What do I want to do the most action of? Do I want to get other dice that'll help me on different planets to develop them and settle them and so forth? Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And there's nothing, maybe it's just me, I'm biased because I love chucking dice, but there's nothing like the sound of that cup just shaking all those dice and spilling it. It's so much fun. And like, I love, love, love that you can play this game in like 30 minutes. I mean, it's pretty relatively quick.
I mean, for me and Jen,
especially for a 2-player, right?
As a 2-player game, we have it under 20 minutes. For us, it's almost a filler.
Yeah, it's almost a filler, but boy, it's got a bunch of things going on here, which I love. It's interesting that we picked, or at least with Wingspan 20, then here 18, another engine building game. I realized probably after this game, when I was still in the hobby, that hey, I like engine building. I think it's neat. I'm not the best at it. I sometimes I fail to get my engine going, but I do really enjoy the process of setting something up where it'll start cranking out resources in a manner that I can use for later on, and really focus on trying to be efficient as possible and get those victory points. And as you can see, they're building a space empire that will rule the universe by being the first to the allotted victory point total, and that's why it's our number 18. Roll for the galaxy.
I agree completely. Both my wife and I love this to pieces. This is in Jen's top 10. This might at this point be her number 1 game of all time. Certainly in her top 5. It's in my top 20 as well. So yeah, it definitely belongs here. Such an amazing game. Although, if I were to complain about anything, oh my God, this game is so hard to teach. This has got to be one of the hardest games out there to teach by far.
And that's. I really, and that's that's why I wanted to tell that story about when I first learned the game as a new gamer. It was intimidating, trying to figure out all these icons and stuff, and it really took me a while to get it. But week after week at the same game night that I would go, I kept asking, "Can we play it again?" Because I knew it just felt like a good game, and it was really satisfying to build that engine. And by the time I finally learned it, it's like, it's a great game, and it's still one of my favorites. Actually, there's a variant too on BGG that you can play solo, friends, and it's a really easy variant, solo variant, but it's fun. Yeah, it captures the spirit of the game without having to do too much AI work. So definitely check that out if you're on BGG, folks. That's Roll for the Galaxy, the solo variant.
All right, and just Roll for the Galaxy, our number 18, both agreed, one of the best of all time. Last question about it. Does it supply... Well, no, I can't. I was going to ask, does it supply a Race for the Galaxy for you? But I wouldn't want to give away future entries on the list, so we'll just let that lie for now.
We shall let that lie for now, yes.
Okay, then let's move on quickly, before we get into spoiler territory, to our number 17. And, I mean, this is all engine building today, folks, because number 17 is Dominion. And it's interesting. I often refer to Dominion and other deck builders like it as kind of broken engine building games, because Dominion, which of course really is such a transformative game. It's so well loved. It's gotten, 14, 15 different expansions? I just got a new one in the mail within the last few weeks. I can't wait to give it a go. But at its heart, you just have a deck of cards. And you start out with a deck full of cards. They're just money, and you can use that money to buy other cards from a public display, and you throw those cards in, and then once your deck is emptied out, you shuffle up the deck, start drawing cards again, and hope that the cards you bought will show up in the right place at the right time with the right combination of other cards so that you can actually run your engine effectively. But as often the case, that's why I say it's a broken engine, because there's all these really good things in there. If I got these 2 cards in at the same time, it would be amazing. But those 2 cards never seem to show up. What kind of engine am I making for myself? It's so brilliant. And it's actually interesting to me. When I was setting this up this morning, I realized I have never actually done a run-through for Dominion. I almost feel like I don't need to, because everybody's played it, right? Actually, what we're looking at today on screen is from a wonderful YouTube channel, Shelfside. I subscribe to him. I recommend everybody do. Ash and Daniel, they really dive deep in their reviews. I mean, they are not just quick in and out, and they're funny, and they have a wide variety of stuff. I love Shelfside to pieces. Cannot recommend them. Everybody, go and subscribe, and watch their video of Dominion. They do a better job than me of explaining it, but I mean, this game spawned an entire genre. There have now been hundreds of deck builders and hundreds more games that have taken ideas from deck builders. And while this was not the first game to actually create a deck builder, I believe the old StarCraft board game actually had some basic deck building, and maybe a few other ones before that. But still, it is incredibly influential, and it keeps reinventing itself year after year after year. Every time there's a new expansion, I think, oh, well, okay, this is going to be the one where they're just phoning it in. And every time, no, they are still finding new ways to mix it up and give us completely new and interesting twists, which inevitably, after Dominion does it, a couple of years later, you'll start seeing those twists appear in other games too.
Yes.
Because it's just, I mean, it's such a perfect, simple, elegant idea. The core game, its rules are described as ABC, action, buy, and cleanup, right? Yeah, that's the whole turn, and it's just fast, it's fun. Again, don't take my word for it. Go watch the Shelf Side video. I mean, these guys are hilarious, and again, really, really do wonderful deep dives on their games. Highly recommend them. Highly recommend number 17, Dominion.
Yeah, such a hugely influential game, and you know, as we get higher and higher on the list here, we're going to see these type of games that, you know, have spawned entire genres of games. And you know, as far as pure deck building, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Dominion. Yeah. Great choice. And here's what's funny. So, you know, folks, if you're watching this for the first time, we don't actually know what's on each other's list as we combine this, right?
Right.
And we have someone else, you know, go through them and combine the list, and then we put it together. And so I think it's really interesting that number 17 is a deck builder, and our number 16 game is also a deck builder.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and this one, I rank this very highly. It is Baseball Highlights 2045.
Okay.
Y'all, if y'all know me, I'm a huge baseball fan. I'm Go Dodgers, LA for life. And I love deck building, and I love the way Mike Fitzgerald implements it here in Baseball Highlights. It is almost a perfect game for me. It's one of those games that really the theme comes out dramatically in this. I mean, it blows me away that you're going to play 6 cards. That's it. For one little baseball game, and it totally feels like a baseball game. There's tension, there's big swings, there are, you know, really cool plays that happen defensively and offensively, and to capture that in 6 cards, again, mind blown.
Yes.
But I love it. You and your opponent, it can play up to 4, but honestly at its heart, it's a 2-player game or a great solo game. Your managers of your baseball team, you're going to start with, you know, like your starting deck, right? These are your, you know, standard vets and rookies. And then after each mini game that you play, you're going to draft some free agents. And that's where you're going to get your team is going to get stronger. You're going to be able to, you know, crush more home runs or strike out more batters. And there's this really cool thing that they do in this where I play a card and it's going to have an immediate action, or some of them do, and that's going to resolve immediately. And then sometimes you'll have a card that can counter that immediately. Other times it doesn't, and you just play it as a standard, duel and stuff. Oh,
yeah, it is a 2-player game specifically, right?
It says 1 to 4 on the box.
Oh, really?
But honestly, I would never want to play more than 2. Yeah, like with 3 or 4, I think it's like this round robin tournament style. I honestly don't know.
That they just try to make a 2-player.
I think it takes away from
4.
it.
Yeah.
I think it works better thematically as a 2-player because you're a manager versus a manager, right? And the solo game's great, really easy to implement. You know, you're just playing against a deck of free agents, but I absolutely love this game, and what I love about it most, Richard, is the fact that even if you don't like baseball, you can still appreciate the design of this game. My friend Daryl, a good friend of mine, my main gaming buddy, I'm looking at the video here. I just saw Puppet.
Benny the Bear makes a special guest appearance in the R&R Show.
Yeah. My good friend Daryl B. Gaiman, he and I play this game all the time. We love it. We have this ongoing, battle that we do. And he doesn't like baseball at all.
That's exactly what I was just about to ask. Because obviously, if you love baseball, you have to play, and board games, you have to play this game. But so your friend doesn't.
Yep. And he's not the only one. I've played with plenty of people over the years that do not like baseball, yet they love this game and they'll play it anytime with me. I love it when they are baseball fans because, you know, you really can get into the minutia of baseball. Hey, here's where I'm going to play this card, or I've gone for the hit and run here. Oh, it captures everything I love about baseball. It does deck building so well, and that's why it's our number 16 Baseball Highlights 20.
All right.
45.
And you know what? When you said up front that, I shouldn't be very many surprises. Maybe you'll surprise me a couple times. If I thought about it, yes, I would have known this was on your list because I do know. I've never heard you talk about it before, but I mean, if you love baseball and you love deck builders, I mean, you have to play it. I have also played it myself, and it is, you're right, absolutely brilliant. So well done. So simple and elegant a system. And like you said, it just captures the American pastime just so brilliantly. Even if it is about a bunch of robots and androids playing, because it's set in the year 2045, but that's almost, I mean, it could be set today. It's not like, don't walk away from thinking, oh, it's a science fiction. No, they just did that for funny art. It's, and maybe to broaden it, I wonder, to make people like me who would say, well, okay, I'm not interested because I don't like baseball, but robot baseball, maybe. It's interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that.
I think you're right. That could be part of it too. I think just to broaden the appeal even more. So those are the people who are like, baseball, whatever. But yeah, like you said, sci-fi robots hitting baseballs. I can get into that. Yep. So a really, really cool, little clever theme.
Good call. And our engine builder streak continues, but I will now have to break the streak with our number 15, one of my favorites of all time, Keyflower. And now, I suppose some people might argue that Keyflower is a deck builder, not a deck builder, an engine builder. But I don't tend to think so. It is interesting in what it does. But at its heart, this is there's so many things. Basically, at its heart, every player has a bunch of colorful little meeples. And those meeples, for the most part, are just workers. You send them out to tiles so they will gather resources, or tiles that will allow them to transport those goods from one place to another. Or once the goods get where they need to go, you will actually convert them into other things that ultimately lead you to victory points. Very standard Euro. And you could you have all these tiles laid out on the board. You could just start sending your workers out there and start activating all those tiles and getting what you want. But instead, those workers are also functionally currency, because this is an auction game more than anything else. Instead of sending my workers out to the tiles that are on the center of the board and put them on the tile to do the action, I can put them next to the tile to make a bid so that building will ultimately come and be part of my little village. And so if I put a single blue on my side of the tile, that means I'm bidding one blue worker on this. And now that I bid blue, this is a blue tile. If anybody else wants to bid on that tile, they have to bid with their own blue workers. But maybe they don't have enough to bid. And they know, oh crap, he's about to get this tile. It's about to disappear. Well, I do have one blue worker. Before it goes to my village, I'll at least send my worker out to do the action of that tile, knowing that the other player is eventually going to get it away. But then a third player might say, oh, I'll bid 3 blue workers to get this tile, and they end up getting it. And the interesting thing that happens is the player who was actually putting their workers on the tile to not bid and get the action later on down the road, but just to do the action right now, because I need to do the action right now, the workers of that player end up going home with the player who won the bid for the tile. So you've got this really interesting interplay between players. Every worker has so much in consideration, whether you're going to use it as a worker, whether you're going to use it to bid, whether you're going to use it as a worker on your own tiles that you have collected on previous turns, and balancing all of that, knowing that at the end of the round, all players are going to get a new influx of additional meeples in all kinds of colors. Just the crunchiness and depth of this game just goes deep, deep, deep. And I have to admit, I would pretty much only want to play this as a 2-player game, because the more players you play with, the longer it gets, because everybody is just crunching overtime, because there's so much depth. Every decision you make is so important, especially because as part of setup, you end up getting a handful of tiles that you won't be able to add to your village until the end of the game, that if you do, they will be getting bonus points. The tricky thing is, I might say, oh, I've got this one that wants me to have lots of green workers. Okay, I know I have to really focus on that throughout the game. At the end of the game, somebody might outbid me for that tile, and I end up not even getting it. So I have to be planning long-term. Everything is about the short-term tactical responses to a very highly interactive, auction. But then equal focus on the really in-depth long-term strategy, because you know before the game even starts what it is you're trying to achieve by the end of the game. but you don't know 100% certain if you will be able to achieve them because if you haven't set yourself up for success. The game is brilliant on so many levels. It's gotten a bunch of expansions, a bunch of spin-offs over the year, and I think that really speaks to just how incredibly sharp the design is. Oh, and then on top of everything else that it does, it's also a really engaging tile laying game too, because when you get the tiles and add them to your village, there are roads, and you need to make sure that the roads are connecting all the different tiles in such a way that the goods generated over here at this quarry can make it over here to this workshop so that you can actually use them. And you have to spend time and energy moving the goods around as well. So it's got worker placement, auction, tile laying, pick up and deliver. It's one of the greatest games of all time because it's so deep, so rich, and just so genre breaking the way it meshes all this stuff together. I love it ever so much. Number 15, Keyflower.
I love the fact that just that video, that's from the OG back in Malta, correct? And it says something though, right? That you're looking at this video and it's still to this day, it holds its place amongst the greatest of all time. I think it says a lot about the legs it has and why it is so widely, highly regarded. Great choice. Yeah, Keyflower, nice. Cool. I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I'm going from Keyflower to our number 14, which is Ameritrash at its heart, and I love this game so much. Star Wars Rebellion. Yeah, so of course you knew there's no way I was not going to have Baseball Highlights 24/5 on this list. There was also no way in heck that I was going to not have a Star Wars game on here. And in this case, it's the best Star Wars game that's available. Star Wars Rebellion. It's big, it's epic, it's a 2-player game. It says it can play up to 4, just like Baseball Highlights. But you know what? This is a 2-player game. One player is the Empire. The other, those rebel scum. That's what you're playing. And this captures everything about the whole scope of Star Wars. Rebels versus the Empire. And you're just trying to, when you're on the Imperial side, you're trying to find that hidden rebel base. Can you find it, and can you take care of it before the game ends? And as the rebels, you're trying to hide. You do not, you're trying to stay away from Darth Vader and all his minions, and trying to survive by completing missions. And as you can see, Shay there. I mean, I'd love to play this game with Shay. I know this is his jam as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's funny. I remember my friend Patrick. He's the one I play this game with the most. He described to me, he's like, you know what, Ruel, this sort of reminds me of like a 2-player Twilight Imperium. I was like, really? And
I've never heard anybody make that up, but it makes perfect sense.
I was really surprised, and actually, it's sort of apt because it's an area control game. You got it's a lot of card-driven things. You have your secret missions to do. You have all these different characters, and at its heart, I feel like there's a little bit of that Twilight Imperium, grand epic scope to it. You are not playing this game in 45 minutes. It's at least 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So that part of it is true. So it's not going to be for everyone, but I think as far as Star Wars is concerned, this captures so much of it. Trying to, step yourself so you're trying to protect planets, if you're the rebels, but also if you're the Imperials, you're trying to crank out more TIE fighters, crank out more, ships so you can go find those pesky, rebels and ultimately destroy them. It's almost like this really killer game of hide and seek, if you think about it, right? You got a little hidden movement, you can move things, and I love Shay's video. It has the pew pew right there. Gosh, I love this game. It's one of those games too where the epicness of it really comes through in the gameplay. And, when I play with my buddy Patrick, we always get together at his house to play this, and he's got the Star Wars soundtracks playing in the background. He has painted all the minis, and, I'm going to wear my Wookiee hoodie to that game day, and it's so much fun. And that's why it's our number 14, Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah. Very well-loved game. I guess, I tend to think of it as like one big, gigantic, epic Star Wars what if. What if Princess Leia had grown up on Tatooine? What if Luke had joined the Empire? Because it's just all the pieces are there, and based on the choices you and your opponent make, it's just like, well, they just all get cobbled together. It could end up recreating the original New Hope, or you could create something completely different. It is very impressive. Just the thematic verisimilitude, just what a great job they do of making it. It always feels like, this is how Star Wars could have gone, as it tells these big, epic, grandiose stories.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up too. Yeah, because it's very cinematic in the
Yes.
gameplay. Like it really does capture, the heart and the soul of Star Wars. But yeah, you are making your own adventure there, and yeah, I love it so much. It's one of the greatest two-player games of all time, in my opinion. So that's our number 14, Star Wars Rebellion.
Wow, okay. Well, number 13, I started out doing engine builders. I think I'm now kind of on an auction kick because after Keyflower, I'm going to continue with, as far as I'm concerned, an even greater auction game. Number 13 on the list, Peloponnes, which is definitely a lesser known game from a small little independent German publisher, and it's absolutely fantastic. It tells definitely dawn of humanity, prehistory style fight for survival, and at its heart, it is a very big, lots of moving pieces auction game. Every round, there's going to be a bunch of tiles that come out that are different ways that our our caveman era civilizations can grow and thrive. We're just starting to develop buildings and various technologies, or we're claiming land to have more arable farm territory. So I guess this must be around 10,000 years ago, around the birth of the age of agriculture. But every round, we are slowly revealing these little tokens randomly from a face-down pile that's getting us closer and closer to different catastrophes. Earthquakes, droughts, storms, pestilence, decline of our civilization. And it won't be until 3 of those tokens come out that the terrible thing will hit everybody. And so at the end of every round, okay, we flip one of these and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe there's going to be some drought in our future. Maybe not. I'm not really. Oh! The second drought came out. Okay, next round we could have drought, and I will lose half of all my land. Okay, what can I do? Because every step of the way, the stuff the tiles that come out are things that we are going to bid on. Much like Keyflower before it. And every round, each player is going to end up getting a new tile for themselves and extend their civilization, either adding more land or adding more technology, one or the other. And I mean, you could really be focusing on trying to grab the tiles that will protect you from the upcoming disasters, or you could protect yourself by saying, oh, look, I've got so much of this stuff. I don't mind if I lose a little bit of land. Yeah, let the droughts come, or the pestilence, or whatever it might be. So there is so much to think about because there's always this sword of Damocles over your head just at any given time. I mean, you could just get ripped apart, and you can push your luck and hope for the best, but really smart play means long-term planning to be prepared for whatever might come. And so coming back to the center of the game, every round there's going to be an auction. Everybody's going to get a tile. And the thing that's so brilliant about these auctions, it's so nail-biting is, and I love so much more than regular auctions, and this including Keyflower before it is, this is I don't know what you call it, a once and done, a once around auction, where there will only be one round of bidding. Your first bid is your last bid. So if you want that tile, you better bid appropriately. You can't say, well, I'll just go on ahead and bid 1, and maybe you'll bump it to 2, and then I'll go to 3, and then we'll go to 4, and we'll eventually get there. No, there is no time for that. If I want that tile, I have to bid as low as I can to hold on to my meager resources, but high enough to scare you away, to keep you away from it. And so I have to work so hard. It isn't slowly revealed over the course of the round how much everybody values everything. I have to know, what is the likelihood somebody's going to try and steal this from me? Does anybody need this? Because, hey, it's one that's going to protect us from the flood. Probably a lot of people need it. But you know what? I don't even care about that one because I prepared for the flood in different ways. So I can focus on this other one and maybe get away with it because people are going to fight over that flood. But I lied. I say it's a once around, but not exactly, because I put a bid in on something. I bid 2 coins or whatever, and then somebody outbids me with 4 coins. They could go to 3, but they're going to 4 because then they know nobody else is going to want to jump to 5, right? So you always bid as high as you can. I've now got loose coins, and I can send those 2 that I got outbid to another tile somewhere else. And maybe that was my plan all along. Maybe I just wanted to bump that flood protection that I know you needed, and knowing full well what I'm really doing, I'm putting the 2 there because I need to put 2 to get this other tile over here. I know you're going to bump me. I'm making you pay more, and then I'll get what I really wanted. And then on top of all of that, if that just gives you hives thinking about all the mind games and the strategies and all that, there's another option too, because every round when new tiles come out, there are ones that are available to bid on, but then there are tiles in the conquest row. And those ones you can just buy. So this is an auction where you can say, okay, I'm gonna engage in auction. I'm gonna try and bid. I'm gonna try and be smart and outplay my opponents. Or I can say, to heck with all that. I'm just gonna go to the really expensive aisle at the prehistoric grocery store and just get exactly what I need, and nobody can take it away from me. But you'll go broke very fast doing that. But sometimes that's what you need to do, because you can't risk somebody else taking something from you. So it's a fast game. You're constantly accruing all kinds of resources. There's tons to think about. The game has actually had a bunch of expansions over the years, because again, this is like a little passion project from a small independent publisher called Iron Games, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is definitely one that has flown under the radar, but people who know it love it to pieces. If you love auctions that are incredibly tension-filled, if you love a game that can be harsh and punishing if you don't prepare and make you suffer, and then you're like me, I guess, and you will probably also love our number 13, Peloponnes.
Yeah, I've been dying to play this game ever since. Actually, we talked about this. I think when we first started working together, like over a year ago, you had mentioned this. I think it was our like top games outside of the BGG 3000 or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I forgot. Maybe like underrated games, and just the fact that they're like, with how all the stuff going on here, I dig that whole auction mechanism. And I'm assuming it's out of print right now. Is that right? Or
I think it's. I mean, I can't imagine you would be able to get it at any local game store or any online store, but I believe it is perpetually available directly from the publisher. Again, it's a small little independent publisher, Iron Games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm subscribed to the newsletter. I get a newsletter from them every month saying, "Hey, we're making this available. We're making that available." So, I mean, this is the very definition of boutique level. If you buy this game direct from the publisher, you are making dreams come true. You are supporting. It's Bernd Eisenstein is the sole proprietor, designer of the games. And I've met Byrne a few times at Essen Spiel. He's a great guy, very passionate. And Peloponnes it's the best auction game of all time, quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome. I cannot wait to play it. Speaking of best of all time, let's move on to our number 12.
Let's do it.
This could easily, this is... I talked about Ameritrash, my last pick. We're going Euro for this one, number 12. I know you'll appreciate this one. The Castles of Burgundy.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
By the master, Stefan Feld. I'm going to go back a little bit. This is another game that was early on in my gaming, career, I guess, or when I first got into the hobby. I was intimidated by this one as well. I mean, I saw all these different colored tiles. I saw these dice. People using dice in ways I never used them before in a game. I was like, whoa, wait, what? You can change the dice with these workers? What's going on here? And it turns out it's a masterpiece of a design. And for me, it's my favorite Stefan Feld game of all time. And I look at I think it came out in like 2011.
Something like that.
I feel like this has been around forever, and yet it's still a relatively newish game. I mean, 10 years, I guess, but. You can see the new version here that you were playing.
Yeah, this was an anniversary edition that came out a few years ago. Yeah.
That's right. I love that edition. As much as I complain about Stefan Feld as far as like colorblind accessibility, that doesn't stop me from playing this game. I went out on my old copy and I made it colorblind accessible by marking everything down with a pen. This is blue, this is green, because that's how darn good this game is. I mean, you're laying down tiles in your little fiefdom here and trying to expand your empire or whatever, and you're using the dice that you got to grab goods and resources and everything else, and it's so good. Everything's intertwined and it just works so well together. It's just a beautiful game. Now, play this at 4. I don't really like it at 4. I love it at 2. I think 2 players is like the really sweet spot for this game. I think 4, it goes a little too long for what it is. I mean, I'll still play it at 4, but I prefer 2 at most.
I completely agree. Do not play Burgundy at 4 unless it's for experienced players.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it is long.
Yeah, it is much longer. And I love this game so much, and it could have easily been ranked higher. But there are other games that we'll talk about. But this is, in my opinion, Stefan Feld's masterpiece. That's why it's our number 12, The Castles of Burgundy.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. what we're doing today, folks, is this is a mishmash of my favorite games of all time and Ruel's favorite games of all time. In case it wasn't obvious, we send our list to a third party who adjudicates and makes sure that there's no overlaps and whatnot. And I mention all this because Castle of Burgundy is my favorite Feld of all time as well. I said in a few episodes back, we weren't done with Feld because, of course, Burgundy was coming. And the only thing that surprised me is it's you talking about this today. Because if it's you talking, that means you rated it slightly higher than I did. And that, and this is one of my favorite games of all time. It's Feld at his absolute best. And I actually, this so warms the cockles of my heart and makes me love you even more, man, that you rate Burgundy higher than I do, and it's my favoriteest game of all time. So well played, sir. Oh my gosh, Castle of Burgundy.
Thank you.
And for folks, what's that?
I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, I was super excited about this episode because I knew you were gonna love my pick.
Totally. Like I said, I'm just surprised it's you talking about it instead of me because I figured for sure. I mean, I knew you liked it too, but I thought I would rank it higher than you. You rank it higher than me. That is mind blown.
It's fantastic.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, there are now basically 3 looks to Burgundy. There's the classic look, which is the one you talked about that you literally had to take a Sharpie to, and then there's what I just showed in the video, the anniversary edition that came out a few years ago, and I believe coming soon to GameFound, there is going to be a new super duper deluxe, completely revamped, includes actual minis and really stunningly gorgeous artwork version coming soon. I cannot wait. I am literally salivating with excitement and enthusiasm for the future of Burgundy. I know Burgundy's been around forever, but Burgundy keeps reinventing itself, and I can't wait to see what's next. Number 12.
Agreed. And since we're on the topic of Castle Burgundy, let's talk about real quickly the roll and write version and the card game version.
Okay, let's all Burgundy all the time.
All Burgundy all the time. I don't know about you. I enjoy them both.
Yes.
I think they both capture the feel and the flavor of the original in different ways as well. A card-based one and then the roll and write. I think they're both wonderful.
I completely agree. The card-based one is basically everything you get from Burgundy in about half the time. Although, actually, surprisingly, more table real estate. The weirdest thing about Castle Burgundy, the card game,
I don't like about the card game.
So huge.
It's a huge table hog.
and then Castle Burgundy, the dice game, which is a very fast little, super efficient roll and write that really just focuses on the tile laying aspect of the game, is brilliant. I love all the Burgundies. And I have the offshoot, Castles of Tuscany, which is basically like a stripped-down, streamlined version of Burgundy as well. Can't get enough. But in spite of all that, in spite of my deep love for it, I rank even higher, number 11 on our list, Nations. And oh my gosh, this game is always been so near and dear to my heart. I love it to pieces. It is a game about, early dawn of civilization. I just had another one of those a little bit ago with Peloponnes, although this one is one of those ones like Through the Ages or whatnot, or, Sid Meier's Civilization that tracks mankind's origins all the way up to the modern day, or almost to the modern day, as we go through different eras, and we are constantly running into, different real world historical people, places, and things, and kind of like Star Wars, we talked about earlier, how that's just kind of like, it takes all these things and hodgepodges them, and you end up getting telling a new story. This creates a new history for humanity, where Confucius was actually an Islamic scholar, because that's just how it kind of worked out in your world that you have evolved over time. And just aside, I absolutely love that kind of storytelling. I love saying, based on my ancient Persian empire, how did it grow? What did I focus on? What Abraham Lincoln, came from Persia. Who knew? I love that. I know some people dislike it. I think it's part of the fun. But put all of that aside, because at the end of the day, pretty much all civilization games, if they want to have real-world historical elements, you end up in that situation. That's fun. It's fine. But let's talk about the gameplay. This is, what would you even call it? I guess its number one mechanism is card drafting, because every round there is a grid of cards and players are going to take turns grabbing them and adding them to their own player mat. And, the ones that are higher up on the grid cost a little bit more. And so there's a lot of tension because every round, a big flop. It's like, I forget, it's different based on the number of players. I think it's anywhere from 9 to 16 cards comes out every round, and players are just going to take turns grabbing them and watching their civilization grow in very thematic, historically grounded ways that are really satisfying. And these cards represent all different kinds of things: ancient wonders of the world, technological advancement, great cities, colonies. Depending on what type of direction that your civilization is going to take. But all of these cards don't do anything unless we people them. And so we have a big collection of meeples. And we can take these meeples and assign them to all these cards so they will get to work, doing the technologies or harvesting the resources that we need or whatever it might be. But you never have enough of these meeples to really activate everything you want to do. And also, the more meeples that you have applied to these cards, the more resources they are going to suck up, because you have to keep them fed and happy and alive. And if you don't, well, things will not go very well for you. And it's hard. There's nothing really game-breaking, not game-breaking, genre-breaking about this. This is all pretty straightforward stuff. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's an auction game where the workers are your bidding chips. It's nothing like that. Everything here is just done pretty straightforwardly. It's the way it all comes together. Although I will say there is one thing that I think is absolutely brilliant that I think puts this above all other Civilization games, and it's the way it handles warfare. Because, of course, a Civilization game, if you want to capture the full sweep and scope of human history, you kind of got to pay attention to that too. So some of the cards that can be drafted for will actually start wars that will be resolved at the end of the current era we're in, after we're done drafting all cards. And as soon as somebody grabs one of those cards, based on their current military might, they create a target that every other player has to hit. Any other player who doesn't get their military up that high by the end of the round is going to suffer some setbacks. Or alternatively, you can say, I don't care about military at all. I instead will focus on ensuring my country's internal stability will be high enough by the time we hit the end of the round, so that, even though the war would hit us because we didn't have a strong military, we don't care. We can slough it off because we're such a strong, stable society. And I absolutely love that there is this sense of war. And it's a direct comparison, because if somebody with a really weak military is the first to, if you have a really weak military, you might want to grab that army card right off the gate, knowing full well that, you're going to create a military campaign that nobody else cares about because everybody's strong enough to avoid this. You took it as a protective, defensive mechanism so that nobody else could take it and then put the screws to you, because all of a sudden, crap, I've got to deal with this. Now, there's a third way to deal with them, which is, okay, I don't care about my stability. I don't care about my military. I have just ignored both of those, and I focus so much on, I'm back to engine building, by the way, but to the engine of my society can produce so much stuff because we haven't focused on these other things, trying to make a more stable government, trying to make a stronger military. We're just trying to make the people happier. We've got so much that we can afford to lose a little bit. And again, I love this. It's so simple and clean, and captures history in a really smart thematic way without requiring what pretty much all of Nation's competitors do, which is eventually, sooner or later, I'm going to start destroying your stuff. I'm going to start stealing things from you. And this game doesn't do that. It is an indirect way of capturing warfare that I think works and is smart. And then it does everything else a Civilization game should do, just best of class. It is absolutely phenomenal. I'm just talking about it now. It just makes me want to play it so much, because I know at the end of a session, we will have gone through such an incredibly epic rise of humanity, rags to riches story, with all kinds of interesting twists along the way. It's absolutely phenomenal. Number 11 on the list, Nations.
Wow, nice choice. Quick question. Have you played Nations the Dice game?
Yes, I have. And the Nations the Dice game is very nice. Although, I would strongly recommend Nations the Dice game with the Dynasties expansion. Because one thing I didn't say about Nations, it's very important too. Everybody gets to have a starting, society, ancient world society. And there are options where everybody has the exact same starting setup, or everybody has a really unique variable setup with focuses on different strengths and weaknesses. And we have no military, but we're really good at building wonders, or whatever it might be. When you get the Nation Dice game Dynasties expansion, it brings that unique variable. Everybody has their own unique special thing, and really elevates that game too.
Nice. Awesome. Wow. We are getting close to the top 10, friends.
That's it.
Wow.
Yes. We have just finished the penultimate edition, and now we're going to be jerks, because we're going to put it on hold for a few weeks. We will not be back for 3 more weeks. All right, the audience says something. What is it, audience? All right. Hey, listen. All right. Somebody said.
Hey, listen. Who did that?
Dice is the expansion of the core game, not the dice. Oh, I misspoke. Well, quick, Goblin, what is the correct one? If it's not Dynasties.
Yeah, I know there's an expansion for the.
Yeah, but I just you're right. And Dynasties, I don't mind going back and saying it correctly, but you gotta tell me which one was it. Dynasties for the Unrest is for the dice game.
Unrest.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Right, let me.
Thank you.
Right. What was I just saying? Oh, that we're for. I was just about to lead into the hey, remember secret word thing.
Yep.
All right, I'll just say. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on. All right. Wait. Breaking news. Folks, in case you didn't know, we were actually streaming this live in front of an internet audience on May 17th, 2022. And the audience just wanted to inform me that I'm a doofus. They wanted to play the role of Paulo today and point out Dynasties is the expansion for Nations. It was the Unrest expansion for Nations, the dice game. Very important. Don't get Nations, the dice game, and then Dynasties, the expansion, because the two will not work well together. So thank you, audience, for pointing that out. And now, what were we just saying? Oh, right. Okay. So we will do the ultimate edition of this, I believe, 3 weeks from now, because next week we're doing hey, what's new in the world of gaming, and then we're doing a Kickstarter roundup. So we'll be back soon with the final top 10, the ultimate edition.
Yes.
But that's a bit in the future. The question for today is, folks, did you hear one of us say the secret word? Did you hear somebody talk about scum? And if so, what was the game? And if you figured that out, you know what to do. Send the name of that game as your subject to contest@rahdo.com to enter to win a copy of the excellent Azul Summer Pavilion. Right. Okay.
Right.
So I think that's it, Ruel. Did I miss anything?
No, that's everything we got to do, and wow, amazing games again that we talked about. I am super excited to come back. Well, we'll be back next week, but I want to see this top 10. This top 10 is going to be amazing.
I am still flummoxed that you're the one who pulled Burgundy. I thought that's mine, and I saw when he sent me, because basically, folks, whatever it was, 6 months ago, we sent our list to our friend, and he's just giving them back to us, every week. We just see these the night before, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not talking about Burgundy this week. I guess Burgundy must have been in my top, in my top 5 or something. Is that right? Yeah. And then I was like, and when then you start talking about it, like, no, you stole my thunder. How dare you, sir? But it makes me so happy too. So
it does. Yeah. Yes, agreed. And I'm sure there'll be like 1 or 2 surprises in the top 10.
I imagine so. Yeah. Okay, folks.
Can't wait.
Well, that was it. I want to say thank you to Ruel and thanks everybody for watching. And join us again next week when we'll be talking about all other kinds of fun R&R stuff. Have a nice day, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Hello. Okay.
And hello.
Good uses of the hey listens. I'm glad.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah. If you catch me and stuff like that, definitely. I do not mind saying, oh, breaking news, folks. I'm an idiot. The audience has corrected me again. Totally cool. And that means the way I could do that there is I don't have to remember what I was just saying. I will just literally acknowledge the fact that the live audience interrupted me. So easy.
Yeah, that was great how you did that. That was perfect.
Cool. Okay.
We got a little time for some Q&A?
Yes, I believe you said there were quite a few questions, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, so then hit me with your best shot.
Let's see. Here's a random one. A random question from Mom Gamer. What do you enjoy the most, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Wow. Do you have an answer for that?
I'm really close between breakfast and dinner. Yeah.
Breakfast has bacon.
Yeah.
Dinner has ice cream. Well, that's really dessert. She didn't say desserts. So if you take out desserts, then it's breakfast.
Yeah.
Jen does so many wonderful things with our home-raised eggs from our 16 chickens.
Nice.
She does so many interesting things with them. Some nice hash potatoes.
Hash browns,
that's probably going to win. But still, the problem with breakfast is traditionally it's very limited. Dinner's a million things.
Yeah. I'm gonna cheat this one a little bit. You know what I really enjoy? I love breakfast for dinner. So during dinner time, I like to have breakfast. So take that, folks.
Well, furthermore, I should add, we always skip breakfast. We don't. Jen and I don't eat until we do like a very small intermittent fasting thing that we don't eat after 7 or 8 p.m. and then we don't eat the following day until noon. So we have our breakfast at lunchtime. We've been doing that for a while because we believe in evolution, and we believe we should treat our bodies the way they were evolved because we did not evolve to eat 3 square meals a day, and our body doesn't quite know what to do with that much food. So our body was designed to every once in a while say, oh, sometimes you just don't get food. I mean, at some point, I really want to kind of bump it up to where I'm maybe eating only 1 meal a day and stuff like that, but it was really easy to just say, oh, let's just skip breakfast. Don't eat until lunch. That's fine.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays, we actually eat at 11:45 because, of course, I have to be here at noon, and I don't think it's any good to eat in front of the camera. But although actually sometimes I just don't eat on these days. Sometimes I don't eat till 2 or 3. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. What's our next question?
The next question, Forrest Glass asks, can you both remind us on the rationale on the decision to go every other top 50s interwoven versus some stats and math stuff to weight and combine your tops?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's an
to me,
question.
the only other option would have been, hey, you know what? I mean, officially, make no mistake, we're not doing our top 100 games of all time. We're doing my top 50 games of all time and your top 50 games of all time. And that's fine. The reason we're doing it this way, I won't hide, is the fact that people are more likely to click on a top 10 list than a top 5 list. People are more likely to click on a top 100 series than a top 50 series. It's just... it's just programmed into us ever since David Letterman back in the early 80s started doing nightly top 10s. I love how Tom Vassell always like say, well, I invented the top 10, everybody's stealing from me. Tom, I think David Letterman has you beat, buddy, by several decades. But
right?
He says that jokingly, by the way, I should say. He jokes about how everybody riffs off his top 10. But that's the reason we did it. We could have right off the bat said, oh, this is a weekly top 5. And because arguably it's my favorite 5 and his favorite 5, or in this case, our top 100. But we're doing it solely, literally for clickbait, to get more people to watch the show because they are more interested. A top 10 is going to draw more views than a top 5. It's as simple as that. But now I don't understand. Right. You're saying stuff about stats and whatnot. I mean, I guess it could be something along the lines. Oh, we take all our stuff, we move it together, we do some kind of relative thing, and then we rank them. Yeah. So, something that you really like, well, I'm kind of a 2-star on that. Well, okay, let's make sure all of our 2 stars end up there. And, we could have done something more complex, but we didn't want to spend that much time on it. And also, we didn't want to overload our friend who took the 2 lists. And actually, he does a fair bit of work. Every week, he sends me a email with YouTube links for every one of Ruel's entries so that I don't have to do anything other than just copy and paste the YouTube link. And I don't have to know what Ruel's doing before the actual list so that I can actually be genuinely surprised instead of fake surprise, which is kind of nice.
That's right. Yep. And just as a follow-up to that, Goblin asked, do you have to own a game for it to be in this top 100? And I'll answer that right now. I just talked about one that I do not own, Star Wars Rebellion. As much as I love Star Wars, as much as I love that game, my friend Patrick has a copy of the game, and his is fully painted. He's got the expansion. And you know what? In my gaming group, at least, we try to, try not to double up as much, so like only one of us has to have a copy of Rebellion. Only one of us has to have a copy of certain games. Of course, I have games that other my friends have, but for the most part, those epic games like that, I don't think there's a need. I mean, I just don't have the space, quite frankly, to, have all these games. So yeah, at least on my end, I don't have to own the games that are in my.
Well, yeah, but you own the group. I mean, you have access to it. Here's the deal. If you did not have access to it, would you own Star Wars Rebellion?
Ooh. If I didn't have access to it, I'd definitely own it.
Yeah. If nobody else in your group owned it, you'd be the guy who owned it.
It would be me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so effectively, you do own it. And for me, yes, I own every single one of the ones I've talked about because if I don't own it, I got rid of it because I don't like it, or it just isn't a good fit for us, or because there's something better. So yeah, all 50 that I've talked about, all my 100. My top 340 are all comprised of things I love because I basically get rid of my ranking as soon as I get rid of the game.
Here's an interesting one from Ripple Rook. What game do you wish was in the top 100 but just didn't click for you for some reason?
In our top 100, or it must be because it didn't click for us.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, there's a bunch. So for me, I could make a list as long as my arm. First of all, I have no idea what's in Ruel's top 10. So, spoiler, maybe I'll mention some of these in passing. Dune Imperium is freaking brilliant. So is that card game from last year, Imperium. These are games that I think could be in my top 100, except I have zero interest in playing them because they have too much of the punchy punch. So, I mean, there are so many brilliant games that I would absolutely love, I know, if I didn't mind punching every once in a while. But they just, I do, so they don't. So for me, I mean, there's a lot of games like that. But I don't know if that's exactly what you mean. What about you?
I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's I'll just echo that. Like, there's just so many games out there, and you know, as brilliant as I think some of them are, it's just not my style of game for whatever reason. Anything like a lot of the deduction games, I'm not really into. That's just, you know, I am the world's worst detective, so I would not be good at any of those deduction games. So, although I think like Search for Planet X is brilliant, that just, you know, it missed my top 100 at least. But. Okay, let's move on here. Well, there's way more questions than I thought.
Pick up the pace.
Wow. Okay. Random question from Mom Gamer. I think we talked about this one last week. What is your favorite cuisine? Oh no, someone last week said Asian or Italian. I went with Asian. I'll stick with that for cuisine.
Oh, that's just in general. My favorite cuisine
Yeah.
is dessert.
In
any land, you know, lots of sweet, no savory. But I mean, to answer the question more, I do really like Italian a lot. I like Americana. I mean, I grew up on that. It's kind of hard for me not to really like that. I also like Greek cuisine quite a bit, as does Jen.
Ooh,
Jen's favorite cuisine by far is Ethiopian. She loves Ethiopian food so much.
I love Ethiopian food. Yes. Yep. Oh my gosh, so good. Okay. This one, oh no, you know, we'll save that one for next time. Someone's asking about the little collage picture. Someone said here, Goblin, did each of you get your half of the top 100 at the start, or are you getting it week to week?
He is sending it week by week. Honestly, I don't understand why he's doing that. He could have just, we each sent him like our top 60 or 70 or something like that, because we knew we would have some overlaps. Like Burgundy, as an example. And then he took and he meshed them together and just made sure there weren't overlaps. And like in the case of Burgundy, Ruel had, I think for me it's my number 8. It must be your number 7 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It was
and so that's why
10.
it ended up being on your list instead of mine, even though I feel like I love it more than you. But still, we'll let it go. And then for whatever reason, he sends it to us. He's on the East Coast. We're both on the West Coast. So I wake up and it's in my inbox on Tuesday morning. I don't know why he's doing it that way. He could have drawn it out, or he could have just done it all at once. But
it's too late to change now.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, we might as well see it through the rest of the way.
Oh my gosh. So we got a ton of things here. We're about out of time. Let's throw on like one more here. Dominion with expansions or just the base? I mean, I feel like it's got to be with the.
Dominion without the expansions wouldn't have made my list.
Yeah,
quite frankly,
it's got to be.
I mean, Dominion. If Dominion only exists as the box and nothing else, it'd be that was really neat. And I enjoyed that for about 10, 15 games, and I think I'm done with that now. I mean, you're right, I should have mentioned it, but it was implicit that I did talk about all the expansions. But it's the expansions that really make it.
Okay. One final question here, and it's courtesy of our friend to live in Dyson, LA. She asks, I'm very interested in buying Riverside, but my husband says all our recent new games have been roll and writes. He's wrong, LOL. But what's your best selling point? What sets apart Riverside? I have not played it yet, but I know you have, Richard.
The thing about Riverside, well, it's interesting. I mean, it's certainly unlike other roll and write games because of the way the dice work. In that they represent, what was it? I'm trying to remember now. Right, it's a dice drafting game. But the dice, when you're drafting them, you care about the number and you do care about the color because they have different functions. And there's also, if he's sick and tired of roll and writes, honestly, I don't know that you could make a good argument. It's just a really good roll and write. But it's not like it's something that says, oh, look, it says this other amazing thing, and then it also happens to have some roll and write in it. It's, honestly, for me, the biggest selling point of it is from the same designers as Avenue, which is one of the best roll and writes there is. It's really, really interesting. Honestly, the dice are less interesting. What's more interesting is that, it's this communal group activity where there's this one ship that is traveling around this randomly generated fjord, and you have all these different villages that you can stop at that have different things that different passengers on the ship want to see. And it's really, there's just a lot of tension for, look, I'm at this place now. I should just get my passengers off the boat and they can go see the reindeer right now, and I'll get 6 points for it. But there's another stop in the final lap of this game, in the final third. And if I don't take the reindeers now, I could do it later. And if I wait for that, I could get 30 frickin' points for reindeers instead of 6. Do I do that, or do I wait? Do I wait? It's such a bird in hand, bird in the book, and that's really interesting too because, well, crap. Okay, I missed it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make that other one because you can actually spend resources to revisit. It's really hard to describe. Maybe that's the most interesting thing about it. It's such an interesting and unique rhythm to it with so much flexibility in the way that you decide how to deploy, what passengers you want to grab, what passengers you're going to take to which village when. There's a lot more going on than a regular roll and write, a lot more. And then on top of that, unlike the vast majority of roll and writes, it's very thematic. Because everything feels like it's themed to, there's this ship. You can see, physically it's moving. You can see these people want to see this thing. You should get them off the boat now or wait till later. There's nothing very abstract about it at all, which is kind of unique. I mean, most roll and writes are pure abstracts, or even where they're not, they're really just kind of spreadsheet manipulating things. Whereas this is a roll and write where you're actually moving and doing things in a world. That's another thing that I think that sets it apart.
Yeah. You sold me. I want to play it.
All right.
All right, great. Thank you, friends, for all the questions. We are out of time. Shall we send the party on?
I feel
over
bad.
to
There's so many questions. People asking all these questions.
There's a ton. Why don't we save? We'll save something. This will hold, right? We can save this for next time.
It should still be here. Yes. Okay. So what you're saying is next week we'll start with a Q&A.
I feel like we should. There's so many questions here.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty then.
Cool.
Well, folks, we will keep this in the queue. We will say thanks very much for watching. We will then go and raid some other channel. And who will it be now?
Who will we raid now? Let's see.
I can't believe now there's sung that before. It's so obvious.
I honestly sing it on my stream all the time.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
I raid. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I see Board Game Geek TV is up. They are doing some painting. Which is nice. Looks like Lincoln is painting some kind of fantastical fantasy creature. That's kind of nice. What else do you see that you like?
Let's see. Let's look under the board game category. There are 560 people watching board games right now. What are the... Wow. Okay. Well, there's always that the weekly blood or daily, I feel like, Clock Tower game, Blood on the Clock Tower. There's X-Wing happening. Someone is playing It's a Wonderful Kingdom.
How do you know? Oh, because you actually went to Twitch. Oh, yeah, I don't have a full list, do I? I see.
Yeah.
You can actually see more stuff. I'm going to go to twitch.tv.com and then search for board games instead of my little command console thing that doesn't tell me anything about what these things are.
Hey, someone's playing Great Western Trail right now.
Oh, really?
Xandulas.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I believe they're in...
are they in English?
In Italy. They're playing in Italian.
Ah, there you go. Yep.
Okay. Let me see who else we got.
I imagine we have probably a few folks in the audience that can handle the Italian, but maybe not enough. And there's a Spanish Terraforming Mars.
Yep. Gameling Games is live right now with Tiny Epic Vikings.
Oh, hey, yeah. I'm sure that would be useful. It's on Kickstarter right now. Yep. Some people are probably trying to figure out. Which one was it again?
Gameling Games.
Gameling. The publisher. Yeah. Gameling Games,
the company. Yep, that's their official one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't know they were doing... It's Gamelyn, right? Yeah, Gameling Games. There we go. Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, folks, Kim loved it. And here's the deal. I came so close to saying, yes, I will be the one. I get first rights of refusal on everything that's on my channel. And ultimately, I decided not to because I thought there was a little bit too much of the area control type stuff. But Kim convinced me it's very good. And the auction-y stuff is so smart. And hey, you can watch the developers themselves playing it right now if you stick around and raid. And tell Michael and whoever he's playing with, Michael Coe, hey from Rahdo, and hope everything's going well. I'm sure the campaign's doing great. I bet you it's over 500,000 by now, right? I bet
it's got to be. Yeah, they always do really fantastic.
And in this case, with good reason. I think this is definitely this will go down as one of the higher rated of the Tiny Epics. I don't think it will eclipse Galaxies, but this might be a number 2 or number 3 for probably most people because it's really good. Scott really knocked it out of the park. And with that out of the way, folks, raid! Go! And in theory, that worked okay. Let's
see. There it is. Rahdo's rating.
Okay,
all right.
Got a build.
Cool.
And a bonus.
Oh, they're playing on TTS. I see.
If you have an F.
Oh, okay.
Building a boat.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Well, cool.
First boat you'll see.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
cost
We are done.
2
And next week, I think
Alright.
it's the fun again thing.
which
So I will
resource
see
gain
you then,
improves
sir.
its resource.
Okay. Have a good day.
Has an
Alrighty,
adjacent
bye-bye.
boat
Bye
and
bye.
has to place it adjacent to one of his boats.
Bye-bye.
There. Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. So let's
Bye-bye.
see.